Hey guys, welcome into Philadelphia Live. I'm Jade Murray. We got a lot of big news coming up today. It's also a huge sports day. Are you into the FIFA World Cup? Because we'll be talking about some of the biggest scores, what's going on across our country, and of course, keep in mind earlier, Curacao brought the blue wave, the sea of blue, whatever they call themselves, here to the city of brotherly love. They were going hard in our streets with a giant parade. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to bring them home the win. Ivory Coast came out on top 2-2 zip. Now, we are also keeping our eyes on a couple of other situations developing. In the top right corner of your screen, you're taking a look at the aftermath of those two massive earthquakes that rattled Venezuela. Keep in mind, one was a 7.2. About 45 seconds later, they were hit again with a magnitude 7.5 earthquake. As you can imagine, they think that the death toll is going to be massive and continue to climb. However, search and rescue efforts are underway. And then on the left side of your screen, you're taking a look at the Supreme Court. You're also taking a look at Capitol Hill. It's because the government today and our justice system, there were quite a few big decisions being made, and I think you're going to want to hear about how they impact you. So remember, you guys are watching us here on Philadelphia Live. That means I'm based in the city of Philadelphia. But we also touch base on stories that are happening in other states, across the country, across the world. We'll get into it if it's happening live, if it's breaking news. I'll try to bring it to you right here. And also keep in mind, this is a interactive news conversation. So if you guys have a question for me, for one of our reporters or a meteorologist, or let's say maybe I'm not touching base on a story that you want to hear a little bit more about, all you got to do is hit me up in one of our live stream chats. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, list goes on and on and on. Plus, we are on the free Fox Local app. So again, if you have something you need to get across to me in real time, I'll be able to read it. Just hit me up in our comment section. Now let's get into some of our biggest news today. We heard that late last night, there was some sort of shooting situation. It was deadly, and police are saying it was an ambush. I want to bring things over to Jill, one of our reporters. Jill, you brought this up in the morning meeting that we had today, and now you're out there reporting on it. What are you learning about the situation?
Yeah, here's what we know so far, Judea. I'm in the Mayfair section of the city, Northeast Philly. We're at the 4000 block of Gillum Street. And earlier, well, actually a day ago, late Wednesday, is when someone was, as you said, ambushed in this area. And we'll get into more of what police are saying at this hour. Fox, we were there last night as police were responding and setting up those evidence markers. So this happened around 11 p.m. and when officers first arrived late last night, they saw a 24-year-old male victim. He was on the ground outside of the residence. They're referring to that as his home at this time with their preliminary information. Numerous gunshot wounds to the torso area. Now, the man was taken to the hospital, and in less than an hour, he was pronounced dead at the hospital. At least 17 evidence markers, they were spread throughout the property late last night. That preliminary review, police are saying the victim was returning home and this was a targeted approach. Now, police, they haven't identified the victim by name yet. They're still identifying, or rather telling the family and those closest to him. No arrests have been made. Also, no descriptions of the three suspects that did this ambush-style shooting. We spoke with someone whose property is too close for comfort from this, Arthur Howell. He's a homeowner right next to the scene. Now, he says he wasn't home at the time he was at the shore, but his granddaughter was upstairs at the time of the shooting. We talked with another neighbor, too. They said it almost sounded like fireworks. There's also, he was mentioning that she mentioned it sounded like firecrackers, so really rapid gunfire, it sounds like. And he described how close the gunfire came to his home. Take a look at what Arthur had to say. Okay, so what he ends up saying is it could have come in sitting on our chair or our couch. It didn't get in that far. I have a closed-in porch, and they were hitting the wall inside there. So some bullets actually went in his property to some extent. Now, police are saying anyone with information, you're asked to contact the homicide unit. This is an active investigation. They need your help finding those suspects. If you know of any information, please contact the homicide unit. I can't express that enough.
Jill, thank you. I know some people have seen this video. We're not going to share it here at Fox 29, but I know some people have seen some video that is swirling around social media, and it kind of goes along with what some of those people were saying. They thought that they were hearing firecrackers. It's possible that there were some firecrackers or fireworks or something of the sort going on in the distance. And can you imagine how scary it would be when you can't tell the difference of what you're hearing? You don't know whether to be scared or not.
Judah, could you say that again? I'm having some issues with my IFB. I heard you mentioning firecrackers or fireworks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was saying there's some video that's swirling around out there on social media. We're not going to play it here at Fox 29, but we're hearing that maybe some of what those people who are interviewing with you said may be true. Them saying they heard maybe firecrackers or fireworks. It's possible that that was going on in the background somewhere. And can you imagine how scary it would be when you don't know the difference?
I did address that with the homeowner, Arthur. They have a Ring camera as well. And he said he did give his footage over to police. I asked if I could see it, wasn't granted that access. But I have seen things circulating online as well. Of course, we can't use it if we don't have the permission to use it.
Of course.
But he was saying in that video, he also could not really identify who it was, and he lived super close to it. So he handed that over to the authorities, the people who need to see it first and foremost. But yeah, I wasn't able to report on that footage. I didn't get the access.
No problem. I mean, Jill, thank you for getting what you could out there. I know a lot of people are worried about this. We have an article about it on the Free Fox local app as well as fox29.com. But we appreciate you getting out there on the grounds and trying to do the hard journalism of getting people to talk to you. Let's bring it back here into the studio with me. That reminds me of a situation. I was out at the Roots picnic getting ready to catch SEPTA back home. And, you know, I was out there with several people, and all of a sudden we heard some pop, 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 probably about 7 times in the distance. And all of us start looking at each other because, yeah, that sounded like gunshots. But at the same time, it is a warm summer night. Is it possible that we were just hearing some kids playing with firecrackers? It just so happens that the police ended up rolling around our block right after that, asked us if we had heard it, and told us, yes, someone was shot just on the other block. So I can only imagine, too, what those people were saying when you really don't know the difference. All of us, had our guard up. I can imagine they did, too. So just, you know, thinking about the folks that witnessed this horrible act. Again, if you want to read more about it, it is available for you on the Free Fox local app, or as well, you can go to fox29.com. Now, typically around this time, we go over to get our weather report with our meteorologist. But at the same time, I do see President Donald Trump has just begun talking. He's out at a dinner for farmers and ranchers. I want to let you listen in to what he's talking about.
Biden. He failed to negotiate a single trade deal on your behalf during a 4-year period. That's because he had no idea where the hell he was. And in his last year, farm bankruptcy rose to the highest levels ever, more than 55% up. One of the things I did for the farmers, I don't know if we get to it, but in the great big beautiful bill, so many farmers, they love their children and they want to leave their farm to the children, and the children love the farm, and they don't want to move into the big city because they're very smart. They want to stay in the farm, but a lot of the farmers are cash rich, and in some cases, and others are really land rich. And the ones that are land rich were having a little problem. They'd leave their farms, and their children would have to go out and borrow a lot of money to pay the estate tax or the death tax, a nasty tax, and it would be like 55, 60% in some cases, and they'd end up losing the farm. They'd go out, borrow the money, and the banks would end up owning the farm, and they did terrible things to themselves. It'd be, you know the story, it's a terrible thing, but there'd be suicides. They lost their farm, it was taken away. And I ended, in the great big beautiful bill, the death tax on farms and small businesses. So if you like your children, good. If you don't like your children, I would say leave the farm to somebody else. Does anybody here not like their children? Please raise your hand. Nobody. That's good. I've never, you know, with all the times I've said that, I've never seen anybody raise their hand, although there's some cases, I'm sure, where they don't. But you don't have the estate tax to pay now, so your children can live happily ever after, and they can enjoy being a farmer, and they can enjoy doing what they love to do. But now you have a president that fights for the American farmer, and after years of getting ripped off by other countries on trade, we've reduced the agricultural trade deficit just this year by 42%, opening markets to the American exports, and all over the world we're opening up markets for the farmers. And we have another one, a new market coming up, and that's called the lovely country of Iran. It's a beautiful place. Would anybody like to go there? The Islamic Republic of Iran, they're having a hard time with food, and we're going to be taking some of their money and we'll spend it, and we're going to be buying wheat, soybeans, and corn, a lot of it. And that process is going to be starting pretty soon. It's going to be pretty big, too. I think it's going to be very big. We have an expanded market, dairy in Europe, and the dairy market, as you know, in Europe, we've opened it up because they had it closed. In Asia, South America, Australia is now allowing U.S. beef into its market for the first time in more than 25 years. And China is committed to purchase at least $17 billion in U.S. agricultural products, in particular soybeans. So I just left President Xi 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he's agreed to purchase $17 billion worth of mostly soybeans and different things, but mostly soybeans. I terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate where they wanted your tractors within 5 years to be all electric. That's just what you want, is an electric tractor. Would anybody like an electric tractor? Because typically it's not the greatest. You run out of fuel. If you're out in the field someday and you're running a little low on juice, you'll never get it started. You might as well abandon it. So ridiculous. But I ended the electric vehicle mandate, which would have gutted the ethanol industry forever. And I saved your ethanol industry, and I think everyone knows that. Maybe nobody more so than Joni and some of the great senators that we just mentioned. Senator Marshall has been calling me all the time, oh, you got to save the ethanol. So we did, right? We did. We saved it. We saved it. So it's very important. And the Democrats don't even know what ethanol is. We eliminated unnecessary restrictions on sales of E15. And I made it clear that I will sign a bill allowing E15 all year round. And that was something that was very important to the farmers. I also repealed the Biden administration's ridiculous Waters of the United States. So it sounds so beautiful, the waters of the United States. It sounds so beautiful, the waters of the United States. It's a killer. It absolutely destroyed you and your businesses. Had a good name, and everything else was bad. When I did that, I said, I'm going to be killed by the fake news media with this one. I'm destroying the waters of the, think of that, the title. And when I did it, I was surrounded by farmers when I signed it, and half of them were crying. They said, you've saved our business, sir. Pretty amazing, right? We passed the largest tax cuts in American history and made the small business tax deduction permanent, benefiting 98% of farmers and ranchers to help keep your family farms in good shape. But it was a fantastic thing that we did for the farmer. I took a lot of heat because sometimes there is a group of people that are the exact opposite of the farmers, and what's good for the farmers is not good for them. But I am pro-farmer. I will tell you right now, I am pro-farmer. And yesterday we also called on Congress to pass a supplemental funding bill that will provide $11 billion in relief towards specialty crops and helping our great agricultural producers rebound from the losses that they had due to the Biden administration's horrible rules and regulations. So we're going to be getting an $11 billion payment in relief to our farmers. And Brooke, you'll distribute that money, hopefully equitably. You'll do it equitably, and you'll do a great job with it. I just want to tell you, you're special people, and you have been right from the beginning. From the day I ran, for some reason you like me. I came from the city slicker, and from the day I ran, you liked me, and from the day I ran, I liked you. And we won Iowa, and we won Nebraska. We won everything. We won everything there is to win having to do with the farms. And now I think we're more popular than ever before. And you have an interesting industry because you go up and down. It's, like a little bit of a yo-yo. But if you remember, last time I got you $28 billion because you were taken advantage of by a lot of countries, including China. And I took $28 billion out of $28 billion out of the tariffs, and I made you all whole, beyond whole, I think, but we made you whole. And now even just in talking here, we're doing the $11 billion relief to help you get through a pretty difficult period of time. We're never going to let you down. We're never letting the farmer down. We let the farmer down. We're letting our country down, and we're doing great. Just so you understand that 2 years ago, we had a dead country. We were a dead country. We were a laughing stock all over the world. We had a man that couldn't walk down those 2 steps. We had a man that couldn't sign a document. He had to use an auto pen. You saw the auto pen over there? He was an auto pen. We call him the auto pen president. And think of it, like 96% of the things he signed, he couldn't sign his name. What happened was a rigged election. But think of it, 2 years ago, we were a country that was laughed at all over the world. The king of Saudi Arabia said to me, Mr. President, a year ago, this was when I was with him a year ago, he said, a year ago you had a dead country. We never thought you'd come back. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We are the hottest country anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military. We took over Venezuela in less than 1 day. And the oil is flowing, and we're getting along with them great. We're going to, by the way, help them with their big. They had a tremendous earthquake last night that you read about, massive in Caracas. But we're going to help them out. But we did that. And Iran, effectively, within a week and a half, we knocked out their entire military, their leadership, their aircraft, their Navy. They had 159 ships within 1.5 weeks. They were all at the bottom of the sea. And then I have to listen to the fake news. Oh, they're much better today than they were then. These people are crazy. They want to make a deal with us very badly. And we probably will. I think we will. But the Strait is open. Yesterday, they took out 19 million barrels of oil. That's the most in the history of the Strait. And the oil prices are dropping like a rock. And, you know, as goes oil, so goes everything else, including all of your products. You have to spend a lot of money for your tractors. Now you're going to be spending much less than you were spending just a few weeks ago. And, you know, with all of the, and Scott will tell you this, with all of the things you hear about, we had to go and make a U-turn. We had the best numbers we've ever had. And I called in Scott, I called in Howard, I called in a lot of the people standing right there. I called in our great Secretary of the Interior, Doug, and I said, here's the story. We just hit records. Our country is doing better than it's ever done. The stock market, we've had 73 all-time highs in less than a year and a half. Think of that, 73 days we hit highs. But we had just hit the highest we ever were. And that was 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago. And I said, well, here's the story. We're doing great, but now we're going to have to make a U-turn. We're going to have to journey down to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Because if we don't do it, they're going to have a nuclear weapon. And if they have a nuclear weapon, the world is in great danger. Israel is gone. The Middle East is gone. But the world is in great danger. And I said, we're going to journey down. We're going to do what we have to do. And we did. We knocked the hell out of them. And now we're negotiating from a position of pure strength. Pure strength. They know that. And the Strait's already open. And we're setting records of the Strait. But we had to do that. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You want to see problems, right? You know that. You want to see problems? You give them a nuclear weapon. They'll use it within the first hour, and we're not going to let that happen. So we did that. They will not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that, 100% agreed to that. But very importantly, though, we have the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military in the world. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're doing things that nobody believed. We're building more factories now than at any time in the history of our country. We're leading China by a lot on the AI. It's an AI revolution. We have the car companies pouring back into our country because of tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs. So they're moving in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan, from South Korea, from all over the world. They're coming in. But we're building more factories than at any time, and plants, than at any time in the history of our country. And as far as I'm concerned, you are the people. You are the very special ones. You're the chosen ones. You're the farmers. And you're the ones that keep it all going. So I'm with you 1,000%. Brooke, great job you're doing. If she doesn't do a great job, let me know. I will fire her immediately. No, she's fantastic. And thank you very much. Have a great time. Turn on some music. Let's have a little music, right, for the farmers. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right, so you just heard some remarks from President Donald Trump. Again, he is hosting farmers, ranchers, all types of agriculturalists right there at the White House. This is a big deal for D.C. It's part of him acknowledging that our farmers have really been the backbone of our country since it existed. He's also acknowledging that during the midterms, what they care about most likely going to be what most voters are looking for. That's our taxes, that is what's going on with trade, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So again, that's what's happening out in Washington, D.C. Just wanted to give you guys a live look. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll get into some of the biggest things that President Donald Trump is also dealing with, like SNAP changes. We'll also get into a little bit of some rulings from the Supreme Court. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Earlier today, the Supreme Court, in a 6-3 split vote, decided to move forward with changing the way that the temporary protected status works for immigrants in our country, more specifically migrants from Haiti and Syria. So essentially, they all voted, or some of them voted, majority of them voted to allow Trump's administration to end TPS. Again, that is the temporary protected status for migrants from Haiti and Syria. And essentially, that leaves about 350,000 Haitians and 6,000 Syrians up for potential deportation. Shortly after that ruling was made, there were lawmakers and policymakers from Massachusetts who came out and talked about it. I want to let you listen in to a little bit of what they had to say.
This is a sad day. This is a dangerous opinion. I mourn alongside our Haitian TPS holders, our Syrian TPS holders, and the impact that this will have on people from 15 other countries who have TPS. We have a State Department that has issued a travel for do not travel warning to Haiti, and yet they think it is safe or okay to detain and deport 350,000 Haitians who have been here, many of whom since the devastating earthquake in 2010. Make it make sense, because it does not. We have a Supreme Court that has abdicated its responsibility to do the work of judicial review of an administrative decision and are just deferring to whatever this administration wants to do. Whether we are talking about temporary protected status, whether we are talking about voting rights, whether we are talking about environmental protections, this Supreme Court has been doing this president's bidding, and it is a bidding that is rooted in xenophobia and racism. Today is a sad day. Today is a dangerous day for people who have, many of our Haitian TPS holders have been in this country so long, they have children who are American citizens. We are tearing families apart with this decision. We are tearing apart our workplaces, our economies. If you have ever had someone, please raise your hand, a loved one who has needed a home health aid. That person is very likely to have been Haitian, to have been someone who has TPS. We are tearing apart our places of employment and our families and the fabric of our cities. It is unconscionable. It is not okay. I stand today saying I am sorry to our TPS holders, to our immigrant communities, that we have allowed this country to fail you in this moment. And to so many, we are on the heels of Juneteenth. When we talk about the freedom story in this country for African Americans, Haiti, the first black nation to have its independence, and here we are, closing our doors on the most vulnerable. The governor said it perfectly. Haiti, while playing in the World Cup, could not play any of its qualifying matches in Haiti because of the dangers that present themselves there, because of kidnappings, because of humanitarian crisis. Haiti leads the world in hunger right now. What are we doing? We are issuing a death sentence to so many who have come to call this country home, whose children speak no other language than English. I am angered that we are in this moment of the World Cup when we are seeing the beauty of what it means to bring people together, of people. I was somewhere 2 days ago, they were swapping jerseys, Ghana jersey, England jersey, Haiti jersey, Morocco jersey. And yet today we are closing our doors. I am gutted. What lifts me up is that I know that we have fighters here. We have fighters in the many organizations that are behind us, from labor to advocacy to immigrant rights groups, the National TPS Alliance that is here with us, to so many people who are standing and who have stood in the gap for our TPS holders. I want to make sure that in these coming days, that when we are doing the work of providing webinars and information, I know Mira already has information out there, I know IFSI, Immigrant Family Services Institute, will be providing information, that we make sure we are steering people to qualified people who can give them legal guidance in this moment. Because our people, our communities, when they are at fear and when they are feeling vulnerable, are even more subject to being taken advantage of. And so we need to make sure that we are putting all of our resources to help our communities. I want to thank the Boston Foundation. I want to thank the United Way, who in March answered the clarion call that so many of us put together to make sure that we are putting resources to our immigrant communities that are struggling. Know that Boston is a city that is not going to step aside and just allow our immigrant communities to feel hurt. We are going to stand up with you, even when we are trying to figure out what to do. We will hold your hand as we figure that out. Please know that my office remains a resource. If anyone has questions, we are here to help to employers. We ask that you make sure that you help your employees in ensuring that they are exploring every legal avenue of lawful status to remain employed. Just to be clear, when Congress created temporary protected status, it is a lawful status that this administration is trying to tear apart. And so I also want to thank the work that has been happening at the federal level. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley valiantly secured a bipartisan vote to extend TPS for 3 years.
All right, you guys, we're going to pause it right there where she's in the middle of speaking, but she had about a minute or two left. So that is just one of the controversial decisions that was made by the Justice Department. That, of course, was through the Supreme Court. But there was also a judge that had blocked the Trump administration's effort to restrict some SNAP food benefits. I want to talk to you about that a little later on, but still ahead, we have a conversation with a Fox News reporter. As I mentioned at the top of the show, there are those massive earthquakes that hit Venezuela, rocked it. They're still trying to put the pieces together after it. We're going to touch base with her and how that search and rescue efforts are going. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. If you were joining us yesterday, you saw live video of 2 earthquakes that had hit Venezuela, and we were looking at the aftermath, them just trying to pull the rubble out, get people out. It was a search and rescue effort last night. I'm hearing that it's continuing on today. Venezuela has had quite the 2026 already, with one of their leaders being taken out back to the U.S. And now they've got these earthquakes. They're just trying to make sure that they can get as many survivors as possible. I'm hearing that at least 188 people are dead, and those numbers could potentially rise. So Amy Gallo's joining us from Miami, which is home to one of the biggest Venezuelan populations outside of Venezuela itself. Amy, what are you learning about this situation?
Judea, I mean, it is just heartbreaking to see all of these new images coming out throughout the day from Venezuela and all of the destruction. And it's the same thing that every Venezuelan here is now looking at and feeling in their heart, trying to figure out how they're going to help out and, of course, worrying for their friends and family, many of whom they still haven't heard from. Last night, 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes struck Venezuela just 39 seconds apart. They're among the strongest to shake Venezuela in over a century. The quakes hitting hardest in the coastal region of La Guaira, just north of the capital city of Caracas, sending buildings crumbling to the ground. Venezuela's main airport now closed due to extensive damage. According to officials, at least 188 people are dead and nearly 1,000 injured. Those numbers are expected to rise as first responders and neighbors continue to search through the rubble.
There are many people trapped. In fact, my sister owns a hotel that collapsed, and there are still people trapped underneath, alive, and they are trying to get them out.
That regime is not prepared. They lack the machinery to lift a building that has collapsed, and there are human beings trapped beneath it. Setting aside the existing negligence, we are never prepared for this because these are not a phenomenon that occur there regularly.
Here in Miami, Venezuelans are wasting no time coming together. Nonprofit leaders and members of the exile community meeting at a local restaurant to talk about ways they can help. Some collecting medical supplies, clothing, diapers, milk, and food at a tire shop. Others looking to partner with each other and government agencies to send aid.
We really need so many things in Venezuela because it's still a country where we lack resources. Hospitals are not properly stocked, and in the event of a natural disaster, we typically need extra supplies and plenty of helping hands.
This afternoon, we are holding a meeting to ensure that everything we get here in Miami is also delivered to households in Venezuela in an organized manner.
Aid groups around the world are already announcing their intent to help, and that includes the United States, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio announcing earlier today the immediate deployment of search and rescue teams, as well as assistance in humanitarian resources and medical resources. Back to you, Judea.
Amy, thank you for showing us what's going on in Miami. I'm also hearing that there are some organizations here in Philadelphia who are trying to do kind of the same thing, sending aid back to Venezuela. Now, I heard one of the presidents talking about how I think she had a sister who had a building that was damaged in this earthquake. Are you hearing from anybody who's saying that they have family members that they haven't accounted for just yet?
Luckily, everybody I spoke to today did have all their families accounted for. Some were still struggling to reach out to certain family members, but had heard from other family members they had been able to reach that those family members were okay. So on that front, we're okay. I did have an Uber last night. I was over covering the FIFA game, and the gentleman driving the Uber told me that his sister, he had not been able to hear from her at all. So, you know, we're hearing cases, different cases throughout the country. And it's interesting to see because like Guaida was the area that was mainly hit, right? We're seeing the most destruction there and the most missing cases, at least right now. But as far as Caracas and maybe even an hour north of there, I have a friend, a personal friend, who said she felt that earthquake. Another friend who lost their apartment building. So it's really so widespread, and it's really sad to put. It's hard to put into words, really.
Well, I mean, I understand when we're talking about magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 seconds away from each other, I can imagine. But again, Amy, I appreciate you trying to give us some context here, also letting us know what people are doing on the grounds. As I mentioned, we've got organizations out here trying to do the same thing, so it's just nice to see all the different states pitching in wherever they can. Thank you for joining us here on Philadelphia Live. And, you know, if you were with us a couple of minutes ago when President Donald Trump was talking, even he talked about the earthquakes too. So it's also touched the White House in D.C. I'm interested in seeing what some of our leaders are going to continue doing in the next couple of weeks. We are going to take a quick step back. When we return, we got to get into all things sports. As Amy mentioned there, she was covering the FIFA World Cup yesterday. It is still going on today. We've got some big matches ahead, including Team USA. We'll get into all of that and more when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. If you got to see any of our earlier coverage right here on Fox 29 Philadelphia, you saw the sea of blue making their way through the streets of Philadelphia. They were in full effect. Oh my gosh, talk about cocky. They say we already won and they've got their waves. They're so excited. Everybody cheering. Everybody's super excited. They were going crazy for our cameras. I want to give you guys just a little bit more context about how many people participated in this parade that went all the way to the stadium. So first and foremost, this is a time lapse. From start to finish, you probably see at least 1,000 people marching through the streets. You even see the guy who paints his face blue. He's at all the games. And I don't know how he affords it, but you know, everybody's so excited again as they were making their way through. But unfortunately, this sea of blue wasn't enough to take home the win, because I'm hearing that Ivory Coast actually came out on top, you guys. It was a score of 2-0. Curacao didn't even put anything on the board. Now, if it went anything, I missed this particular match, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but if it went anything like the previous match that I got to see, the goalie is incredible for Curacao. Unfortunately, sometimes the players aren't enough to beat the other team. You know, there's a lot at play there, but it was interesting to see just how many fans came out in full force. If you thought they were a small island, because technically they are, it looks like either they brought everybody they had to the game, or just a lot of people decided to switch sides and get over and be one of their fans. So anyway, that's what happened here in the city of Philadelphia. But of course, we had some other things happening as well. Right when that game ended, our Chris O'Connell was right there on the grounds. I believe he had made it outside of the stadium, gotten to speak to some of the fans on both sides. Here's how it went for him.
Game number 4 here in Philly, now in the books. Ivory Coast winning against Curacao in a pivotal game, and a little bit of history. The Elephants moving on to the knockout round for the first time in the country's history. And joining me now, your name?
Nakuti.
Nakuti, you are from Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Tell me, what was it like in there to see your country advance to the next round?
It was amazing. Thank you, USA. Thank you, Curacao. Thank you, the world. Ivorian, we win. Thank you for everything.
How did you enjoy Philadelphia?
It was nice. Now I'm going to enjoy.
Now it's time to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead. Have fun. Nice to meet you. Love your hair. That's what it's about. All right, take a look at some video from earlier. It was a party here outside of Philadelphia Stadium. Yes, a big soccer party, the sights and sounds of FIFA-delphia. Fans from all over the world flocking here. Ivory Coast, Curacao, the first trip to the World Cup for many of these fans, and it was a bucket list for many, including some U.S. fans.
To see the world's finest athletes playing at their best, whatever happens, whatever the score is, as long as they play their hearts out, we all love them. Whatever country you're from, you're all welcome here. It's all about the love.
I've traveled a bunch, so I love traveling, and I love people from other cultures, and so this is a blast for me. And I've been telling a lot of people that are Philadelphia sports fans, that are huge sports fans, I'm like, wait till you meet the world fans, because they're a whole different breed. I mean, we're Go Birds, but they are that much bigger.
Back out here live, you see some of the 67,000 fans making their way out. Once again, game number 4 here at Philadelphia Stadium, now in the books. And you probably see some U.S. jerseys in the crowds, because a lot of these fans are going right from here to Philadelphia Stadium, right up to Fan Fest on Lemon Hill to catch the late game. Of course, you'll see it right here on Fox. Team USA and Turkey tonight here on Fox. The World Cup magic continues here in Philly.
All right, Chris had a ball. Seeing all the fans come through and all their get up was so interesting to me. But like he said, you did see a lot of people decked out in Team USA gear. That is because that game gets off at 10 o'clock. Los Angeles Stadium is going to be the place to be, but here in Philadelphia, they're going to head to FIFA Fan Fest, as Chris mentioned. Let's check in with our sports team. I know they're also keeping their eyes on everything that's happening with FIFA, as well as the Phillies. I believe we're going to be talking with Scott Grayson. Scott, talk to me. How have the games been going for World Cup?
Yeah, it's been an exciting day because everybody's really now getting to the point where they're fighting for that spot in the knockout round. And that's what happened here in Philadelphia earlier today, where Chris was outside of. The Ivory Coast, needed to win in order to get in, and they did. And for the first time, they're going to play in the knockout round. So it's really cool to see these kind of stories developing as these teams are playing, their last matches of group stage play. And of course, we know the U.S. is playing tonight. Never before has the U.S. won all 3 matches of group stage play. So they're trying to do something they've never done before. But even if they don't, it doesn't matter. They're already in as the pool winner from their pool, and they're waiting to find out who they will play, most likely Bosnia-Herzegovina in the first match of the round of 32. So a lot of cool things going on. It's just amazing to watch this all undergoing, throughout the United States, and especially right here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we're going to be checking in with fans from a couple of different watch parties a little later on, you guys. I think that we're going to see people getting really, really hyped for this, even if they're not in the city where it's going down. It's been kind of cool to see, just how people come together for each one of these matches. Soccer really does bring folks together.
Yeah.
Scott, let's get into the Phillies, because they've also been playing. They've also had a pretty mean streak going. One of the last games I watched, I think it was game 2, it was like the Washington Nationals were beating us inning after inning after inning, and then right toward the end of my show, we tuned in, and it was like 14-8. Phillies were up. What in the world?
Yeah, the last 2 nights, it's amazing. You need to get 27 outs in baseball, 3 per inning, 9 innings. We do the math, it's 27 outs. The Nationals were really good at getting 26 outs, and that 27th one the last 2 nights has been a problem, and the Phillies have taken advantage, and they've won both of those games. And in doing so, they've climbed back into the race against the Braves for the division title. Now, things tonight, you sit here, you go, okay, they're playing the 4th game against the Nationals tonight, the last one of this series before they move on to New York to play the Mets. But and the Phillies had Christopher Sanchez starting tonight. You go, okay, great. Christopher Sanchez, he's like Mr. Automatic, but he's given up 5 runs in the first 3 innings. So perhaps they're going to try to go to the well again of one of these dramatic comebacks late in the game. So far, they're behind 5-0. Still early in the game, but Christopher Sanchez not pitching nearly as well as he has all season up to this point. So we'll see what happens in that game. But, either way, the Phillies have done an amazing job of getting back into this division race, as I said, 4.5 games back right now, the Braves. You look a couple weeks ago, that was closer to double digits. So they've really made up a lot of ground as we hit right around the midway point of the season. It's been a roller coaster ride of a first half of the season for the Phillies, but we'll see how they do in the second half, and particularly as they go through here. The Nationals not a bad team. They're a pretty good team, so these are good wins. The Mets have really struggled. They made 6 errors yesterday. So when you look past the game tonight after they get through this, they really need to do some damage against the Mets up in New York. Those are very winnable games, and the Mets are a team that are really they're really struggling right now. So they got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm sure Philly fans are saying the same thing. Let's take a quick look at the score where it stands. As you mentioned, the Nationals are not a bad team. They're up 5 right now. But if we learned anything from the last couple of nights, it doesn't really matter.
It's not over until that 9th inning is completely over, yeah.
Okay, that's what we see. All right, so in addition to that, I know the last couple of games we haven't seen Schwarber. Is he out there today?
He is. He actually pinch hit last night in the 9th inning. And then got pinch run for, but he is in the starting lineup tonight, batting second where we've seen him. Obviously, as you saw by the score, he has not yet done any damage to the Nationals, but we'll continue to watch that. Schwarber having a great year, should be an all-star. There were actually, Judea, three Phillies, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, and Brandon Marsh, that were named finalists for the voting for to be starters in the All-Star game here in Philadelphia. So the second round of voting is starting up, and we'll see how that goes. July 4th, Fox is going to announce the Major League starters for the All-Star game, and we'll find out, along with everybody else, if any of those 3 or all 3 perhaps become starters there. Christopher Sanchez, of course, like we said, not having a great night tonight, but still up for the opportunity to be potentially the starting pitcher of the All-Star game. So we'll see, again, as this game gets closer, how all that shakes out.
That would be crazy. And I keep saying this when I'm talking to the meteorologists, but the thought of July 4th being so close. We're talking about, is that next weekend? Yeah, that's
it's
insane.
coming. Yeah, it's coming up. Right. It is crazy because all along we've been looking forward to. Well, it was in terms of sports. That's the way we think, right? It was the PGA Championship back in May, and okay, that was done, and then we get ready for the World Cup. Now the World Cup is here. We've already got 3 of the matches done. There's one Saturday. 4 of the matches done. There's one Saturday, and then the knockout round game on July 4th. And like you said, then after that it's the All-Star game, and after that it's Eagles training camp, and we're off and running towards the fall. It's crazy how fast this year is flying by.
Scott, when do you guys have time to rest?
We don't. We don't rest.
Rest is for the weary.
Yeah.
We'll do that when we're done. Well, thank you for joining us here on Philadelphia Live, catching us up with everything that's going on out there. We'll keep a look on the scores with the FIFA World Cup matches, and keep in mind Team USA does get underway in just a little bit.
Yeah,
So we'll
should
be
be
checking in
fun.
with the fans. Yeah, it will be. Thank you so much.
All right.
And with that being said, we are going to have a look with one of our reporters at, who's coming out to the watch parties for Team USA. You saw people already decked up in their garb, probably going to bars, probably going to FIFA Fan Fest, probably just honestly standing outside the stadium, because a lot of people congregate inside the parking lots for tailgates. We'll be checking in with Shawnette Wilson on that. But before then, I want to touch base with Jake Leonard, see what's trending out there. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live, you guys. I'm Jadaea Murray. This is Jake Leonard.
Hey, hey.
Hey. We always check in with him on what's trending, what are people talking about, what are people watching, what are people scrolling and reading. So, what's going on?
One word, Kylie.
Kylie?
I guess 2, Kylie Jenner.
Well,
you might have heard of her.
Maybe.
So, Kylie has kind of been in a rough spot recently. She has been getting lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, and today she got another one.
Another one.
Yeah, another one. She is being sued by her former private chef. She is alleging that Kylie, her employment and her stressful hours led to her miscarriage.
Oh, that is a serious
Yes,
accusation.
it's very serious. So basically, let me break this down. What she's saying is that she was originally hired in around Thanksgiving 2024. Okay, and so she started the job. A couple weeks into it, she found out she was 3 months pregnant, so she told her supervisors. Okay. So that's around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Flash forward to New Year's Eve. she was doing, I guess, a New Year's Eve party for Kylie, and she was forced to carry a bunch of heavy boxes and stuff, and apparently she was really struggling and, you know, gasping, and she needed water, and she actually claims that she asked Kylie's security team for help, and they jumped in and helped her. And she told the supervisors, but the supervisors were kind of basically like, okay, like, get over it.
Oh.
So she basically is claiming that she worked anywhere between 11 and 12-hour days. So flash forward to February 2025, Kylie hired her to do her baby Stormy's birthday party, and, you know, it was super intense. And after that, a little bit after that, is when she found out that she had the miscarriage. So she's alleging that because, you know, Kylie was putting her through these hard hours, you know, not giving her a lot of breaks, that it caused this miscarriage. So another thing that she's claiming is that she kind of, you know, in the aftermath of this was obviously pretty distraught and upset. And then when she kind of came to her supervisor with all of this, the supervisor said, stop it, you know, pull yourself together, you're making Kylie upset. So she was very, you know, dismissive. And yeah.
Well, okay.
There's a lot
thoughts,
to unpack there.
For sure. So let's start with high stress levels can impact
Yes, 100%.
your pregnancy.
Yes.
It's known. It's been studied. My thing, though, from listening to it, I'm not exactly hearing that Kylie directly caused these problems.
Yes,
and maybe that'll be what's argued.
Yes, that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, so people are like, why aren't you going against, like,
Your
the supervisor? Obviously, it seems like she's a very valid case, but it might be directed at the wrong person. So
realistically, with a lawsuit like this, she's probably thinking about money.
Yeah,
and Kylie would have the money in order to pay. So,
and like I said, this is Kylie's fourth recent lawsuit. A bunch of her former staff are kind of coming at her, so it might be a pattern. I don't know.
Meanwhile, when you said Kylie Jenner, I thought you were gonna come up here and talk about, like, her being the face of Meta or something like that. The Meta glasses.
The Meta glasses
on Instagram. Anyway.
Yes, so that Kylie's also been in the news because of that. A lot of people are kind of arguing, is this right that she's doing that right? And a lot of people, again, I feel like we've had this conversation before. The Meta glasses. Some people might not know they're being filmed. Is that always the best thing? I don't know.
Well, a lot to chew over there. And I can only imagine, like, what she's thinking about too.
Yes.
But to the worker who lost her baby, like, all things aside, I am so sorry that that happened.
That's
to
an
you.
awful thing to be going through.
No one should experience that.
Yes.
Jake, thank you so much for giving us a look at what's trending
Yes, of course.
out there.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We'll check in with you a little later on. You guys, we still got to get into what's happening here in the city of Philadelphia. Fans are getting out, having a good time just to watch Team USA take on Turkey in the FIFA World Cup. We'll get into all of that and more when we come back. It's okay. Breaking news. Everybody's having a good time at the FIFA World Cup. It's a great time to be in the city of Philadelphia. A lot of fans, even though it's happening at Los Angeles Stadium, a lot of Team USA fans are already getting out and about trying to watch the big match against Turkey. That takes place in about 2 hours. But again, people have already gotten outside in order to watch. And that is actually how we meet Shawnette Wilson. She's been assigned to covering all things FIFA World Cup, Team USA. Shawnette, where do you find yourself in this hour?
We are at Stateside Live right now, Judea, and it is a party. As you mentioned that people were, I heard you before the break saying people were finding their way out to parties and bars and that sort of thing. So earlier we were out here, when Ivory Coast and Curacao were playing. We know that Ivory Coast won that match. And it wasn't so crowded inside. Obviously that match was here, so a lot of people were inside Philadelphia Stadium. But this place is really getting busy right now as we move throughout the night. So you can see that even the kids are out here having fun in their soccer jerseys, kicking around the ball, and she's doing cartwheels. But there is a soccer ball. Oh, there's the giant ball, Marty, that's been going around all afternoon. It's on a break right now. Looks like it needs some air. But we will be here tonight because, of course, we are keeping our eyes on Team USA, which will take on Turkey tonight at 10 o'clock tonight. They have carved out their path to the knockout round of 32, of course, after defeating Australia and Paraguay. So that is exciting. We talked to some people earlier today who plan to watch the match tonight, and here's what they had to say.
I've been loving it. The city's been great. It's cool seeing all the soccer fans out. You don't get that. In a football town, it's fun to see some soccer fans. It's a little different. And the U.S. is doing great, so it's been good.
Let's go Team USA. 10 o'clock tonight. You said you're going to watch.
Yes, we're watching, for sure.
All right. What do you think about their performance so far? Were you shocked that they are doing so well?
Happily surprised, yeah. I mean, I think we were coming in with a strong team, so I thought we were going to do well, but I did not think we were going to do this well. I didn't think we were going to top the group after 2 games. We get to rotate the players out tonight, bring in some new faces, fresh legs. I'm excited for what's to come.
All right, super excited, and we know that we have 3 players from our area on Team USA. I think from Hershey Media and Wayne, PA. So all eyes are on that match tonight again here at 10 o'clock. But right now, just a good time. I mean, we have other people taking in matches here, but it is just a party. People all the way, Judea, up on the bar top there, roof deck bar.
Oh yeah, enjoying themselves. And this is probably the best time.
It's happening, baby. We're on 10 p.m. and that's it. It's our time. It's USA's time.
And you just had a chant.
Oh, USA, 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 USA. 250, baby. 250.
Where you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. What about you?
New Jersey.
What's your name, pretty girl?
Jackie.
All right, Dimple.
Bree.
Thank you so much, Jackie and Bree. Have a good night. We love an impromptu chant and cheer, Judea. We live for that.
It's the energy in the air. I was saying this is probably the best time to get out there. It's not too crowded. The weather is absolutely perfect. Like, we could have asked for a better day. And Shawnette, when we first came out to you, like, the sun was hitting. You look good.
Would you say the what? The sun?
The sun, yeah, the sun was hitting.
Lighting is everything. Oh my God, Judea, so I forgot to bring my fan. I have a FIFA fan update. So do you remember, what was it, last week during the Brazil-Haiti game, and I had my fan? And you were like, oh, is it misting because the girlies have it? And I talked down like, oh, it was only $14.99. It's not, well, it does mist. Now, see? I don't know. I think I may need to go and trade it in though, because like the mist isn't fully misting. When I see you again, I will, try it out on air. But it's like it's giving a little mist and then it fizzles out. And it was actually like $21.99. So I don't know. I'm still working on it though.
Nothing gave you.
I'm gonna have it working by the knockout round.
We sure will. Yes. This is what we need to see. And this is the hard-hitting journalism that we need to. When will Shawnette's fan work? Thank you so much for giving us a look at what's happening out there. Again, you said you're at Stateside. We'll be checking in with another one of our reporters, too, who may find herself at FIFA Fan Fest. We'll see. But either way, wherever you go tonight, you're going to see Team USA fans. Thanks, Shawnette. Wow.
Alrighty.
A lot happening there. Oh, look at the kids. It's been so interesting too to see, like, they don't care about different ages, different backgrounds. Like, they're all just there to have fun. We even saw like a little nugget whose jersey was probably bigger than he was, running after the big kids. Yeah, this is fun. A lot of stuff you guys can get into if you head out to stateside. Again, just a couple of options for anybody who's looking for something to do or where to watch. You better kick that shot. Goal! We love to see it.
Did you see my foot get in there? Did you see my heel?
I did. I saw that heel. Women can do anything.
Not making anybody's team, though. Not making anybody's team.
Speaking of the women, it's been interesting too. I heard some people say that they thought it was interesting, kind of like kindly surprised at how Team USA's men were doing, because we usually think about women with the soccer. They do really, really well each and every year. Oh, so cute. And she just does the card. Kids live the best life.
USA!
Love it. Oh my goodness. All right, Shawnette, we're gonna let you have all the fun in the world while these little cute fans say their hellos and their goodbyes to us. See a Team USA jersey right there. We love it. All right, you guys, we gotta keep the ball rolling on some things happening around town. First and foremost, let's give you a live look at some of our stadiums where it's going down. FIFA World Cup matches are going down right now. So top left, taking a look at Dallas. That is where we find the Japan-Sweden game. Let's check on their score. How are they doing right now? Okay, so it looks like the Netherlands are up 2. Tunisia has not put one on the board just yet, but we're only about 50 minutes into this match. You know, each soccer match is about 90. They may be given some extra time, but again, Netherlands are on top right now. The next stadium we've got for you guys, Kansas City, top right. And that is where we find see, I read the wrong scores again. Tunisia, Netherlands is where Kansas City is playing. We want to go to Dallas Stadium next and take a look at Japan and Sweden. No one has scored here just yet. We're almost 50 minutes into the game, so could be a draw. Maybe somebody will come out in the last second and score. The bottom left, we've got Philly, and that is where earlier we had the Curacao Ivory Coast match, and of course Ivory Coast came out on top. They had 2 points. Curacao unfortunately did not score, but still so many fans came out to have a good time. They were really excited to be here and probably extremely proud of their guys for making it this far. And then the bottom right, you're taking a look at LA Stadium where Team USA is going to be taking on Turkey. That match does not start until 10. Doesn't matter. People are already excited, getting out and about, trying to find the best place to watch the match. And just a quick question for you guys watching us, streaming along with us in our live stream chat. Where do you think is the best place to watch the match? Would you go to FIFA Fan Fest on Lemon Hill? Would you go to your local bar? Are you staying home? Are you just watching the highlights on social media like the rest of us? Or are you just watching us here on Fox 29 Philadelphia Live? Because obviously that's the place I'm at. That's where I want to be. All right. A couple of other things happened today. During that Curacao Ivory Coast match, our anchors got a little silly. So I think yesterday there was a dancer who actually came in and taught Mike and Alex some hot moves on Good Day Philadelphia, and they took those moves to the match today. I saw Sheba Russell and Jason Martinez getting down. Let me show you how they do things.
And so, you know, we're not going to just let them have fun. We're going to have a little.
You gotta get our legs. You gotta get our legs.
It's like a little leg action.
Oh Lord. Okay, Sheba.
Mike's going.
Jason with a twerk. Wait, look at the comment section though. Okay, Cam, she works here at Fox 29. She says Sheba got them mega knees.
You know, Sheba, I said I would never dance. But I can't.
Jason's actually really dancing for us.
Myself.
I feel like that's what he looks like in the club. Oh, not the crazy legs. This is a
tired.
lot.
Can we go to commercial?
No, we can't go to commercial.
I don't really work my legs much. And so,
I am weak. Yeah, I'm gonna let them have that. You guys cannot see my dance moves. If you want to see something like that, follow me on social media. Maybe I'll hit a little two-step for you there. But it's so fun watching them. They are so silly. I feel like every anchor here, every personality here has so much personality. That's what makes us great. We are gonna take a commercial break though. We'll be right back with a lot more news. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You guys, we were just talking about the FIFA World Cup and Team USA taking on Turkey at Los Angeles Stadium. They've literally just arrived. You're looking at our boys walk in. This is like a victory run for us, I think. I think that we have a really good chance tonight. So again, you're seeing the players walk on in. It looks like they've got their head in the right places. A lot of them listening to music, just trying to keep their focus. We're hoping for a clean match tonight. We want to come out on top. Again, as you've heard from our sports team and from a couple of other people who have weighed in, this isn't the most important piece of what's going on there, I guess you could say. It's not like do or die with this particular match. Still, you know, we want to see our guys win. So that's going down at 10 o'clock. But again, you're seeing the guys just now make it to Los Angeles Stadium. We're at 10 o'clock our time, Eastern Standard Time. We expect to watch them take on Turkey. It's going to be a good one. Okay. Now, let's move on. We heard that the local union workers here in Philadelphia have just announced that PICO workers will be going on strike. When is it going to happen? July 4th. I want to let you listen in. They gave us a video, if we could just show it. Do we have any of that either? Okay. Let's check one more time for the sound bite. Let's see if we can play that for the people. This is like real behind the news, behind the scenes kind of stuff. Oh, yes. All right, let's go ahead and play the sound.
I am the proud union president of IBW Local 614. We represent the brave men and women that keep the lights on and the gas flowing in over 1/3 of the Commonwealth of this state. And we declare now, on this land, that we are putting PICO on notice IBEW Local 614 workers are going on strike. This will be the first strike in PECO's history. We did not come to this decision lightly. We know the impact that will be felt across Philadelphia and its 4 counties. We understand that the strategy of Exelon, a company of kings, a monopoly of monopolies, have decided that they want us to go on strike. They never intended to bargain. They forced our hand because they think that this will divide us. Like many poor decisions Exelon has made, they have not understood that this has united us. This has united us with each other, with our brothers in the 126, with the Teamsters, with the longshoremen, with the teachers and the hotel workers and the nurses, and Danny Bowder from the AFL-CIO. The tyranny that this country faced 250 years ago was dealt very close to this location, and men far greater than me decided that they were going to fight those kings and that tyranny. They said we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. For some strange reason, it never dawned on anyone to write that down. Well, that is our bloodline, and they don't think we're equal. And if you look behind me, you can see what happens when you treat a bunch of men and women that do a very dangerous job unequal. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim McKell. I am one of the union's assistant business managers. I have worked for PECO for over 40 years, and I've been a lineman for 35 of those. Linemen install, maintain, repair those high voltage lines and equipment on a regular basis. A lot of the men and women behind me are the people you see in the middle of the night. No matter the weather, no matter the day, no matter the time, no matter the holiday, no matter the significant family events. We work in it all. We do it to make sure everyone here gets their electricity back on and the gas flowing. Work is highly dangerous and requires immense skill and care to do the job safely. One false move, an electric current will run through your body and stop your heart. And that's if you're lucky. The unlucky ones live after that, trying to recover from those injuries. Why do we do it? We do it so the kids aren't scared when the lights are off in the middle of the night. Do it to keep the fridge running so that expensive food doesn't spoil. And we do it so you feel safe and comfortable in your own home. We do this work, we take pride in working through the day and night, and I've done it for over 40 years, to get the lights on in the very communities where we live. Every person here knows everything runs on electricity these days. We're proud of that service we provide. But that's not enough. Since Exelon was formed 25 years ago, they have done nothing more than decimate the benefits of the workers. My own retirement benefits have been slashed multiple times and taken from me. Our membership needs a fair contract, and they need it now. One that meets the moment and recognizes the contributions we make to the company and to the service it provides. We're not even asking for the moon here. We last ratified a contract with PECO 5 years ago. We agreed to take the same benefits as the non-represented employees. What we found out was the company misled and hid the fact that they were offering other non-represented employees better benefits. Benefits that were promised to us but never delivered on. So we're not looking to get back things we lost. We're simply looking to restore the benefits that were hidden and taken from us. What this Fortune 200 company did to the members of Local 614 is beyond reprehensible for a company that likes to quote themselves as a top place to work. Put your life on the line for this company for 30, 35, 40 years and not have decent retirement benefits is beyond degrading and demeaning to the women and men that this company and this community relies on to keep the lights on and gas flowing. We are calling for a strike now because after over 5 months of active bargaining, this company refuses to acknowledge the high value work that Local 614 provides. They refuse to acknowledge the stolen benefits. They simply stare when asked about them, as if there's no answer that they can say out loud. To me, it's fitting that this historic strike will begin on July 4th, the day we celebrate our country's freedom from a tyrant that denied us fair and democratic representation. Democratic representation in the political process. This union and the workers we represent are also fighting a tyrant, a corporate behemoth that believes it is accountable to nobody but itself, that grows rich from our work, that lies to its workers and denies them democracy in the workplace, simply because it can. It's time for that to end. It's time for PICO to treat its workers and this union as partners in a collective effort to power the Philadelphia region. PICO and Exelon forced us to this moment. At 12:01 a.m. on July 4th, our members will be withholding the labor that knows this system better than anyone else. Our skill and expertise cannot be replaced overnight. This region's electric and gas system is very old, very complicated, and very dangerous. There are real risks when outside contractors or unfamiliar are asked to step into critical roles. A strike is coming, and PICO has the power to avoid it by coming to the table with a fair deal. Thank you all, and God bless America.
All right, so you got it there, July 4th. They say that's going to be the day. They say they're going on strike and they want what they want. We've got an article up about this on the free Fox Local app. You can also go to fox29.com if you would like to learn more. I want to get you out to a breaking scene. Our Sky Fox is flying over a crash right now. The only thing I know so far is that this is the West Deptford area. Unfortunately, that is just about all that I have for you guys. We're waiting to hear from our law enforcement and other first responders of what exactly took place here. As you can see, it's difficult to tell because there are trees in the area blocking the scene. But again, we do know that there was some sort of crash. It does look bad. The front, what should be trunk of the car, looks like it's decimated. So again, we're waiting to hear more information. We don't know about the driver or if there are any passengers in this particular situation. We also don't know if another vehicle was also impacted, but that is what we have there on that. You can see the ambulance is on the scene, and it may be a fire truck nearby as well. So again, once we learn more information, we'll try to bring you guys the latest. Meanwhile, we also know that Team USA is gearing up for that big match against Turkey. We've got another live look. Fox Sports is providing live cameras right inside Los Angeles Stadium. So they've made it in, they've made it to the pitch, the field, and every now and again they're also holding interviews with some of the players ahead of the match. This doesn't begin until 10 o'clock, so they're early, and it's kind of interesting too with this interior camera that we're getting. Sometimes they show us a look at these stands, and it looks like fans have already started pouring in, even about an hour and a half ahead of schedule. So obviously the excitement is there. Obviously the team, they're ready to go. We see smiles on their faces. So even though when they walked in, you guys, it was like all serious. Everybody's ready to just take over. The focus was in, it was 100% there. But now we're seeing them smile a little bit, have a little bit of fun. I think they're realizing too that even though this is a big match for their careers, it's also just a game that they're playing because at one point in time it's like their passion. They loved it. So that is the latest of what's going on in Los Angeles Stadium. I'll try to bring you guys back out there, especially if I see another live interview happening. But again, we've got a lot more news to get you on out to. Coming up still ahead, I want to talk to you guys about some major changes that are coming to SNAP and SNAP benefits. I don't know if you guys use them or you know someone who does. You're going to want to hear what's changing. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Before we get into the changes with Snap, I want to run through real quick just some live things that are happening right now. As I mentioned before the commercial break, there is an accident, a crash that we're trying to get more information about. Again, you're taking a live look as our Sky Fox is flying over the scene. There are plenty of first responders out there who rushed to the scene. It has been taped off. There are trees in the area, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but we were able to get you a live picture before of at least one vehicle that was impacted. The front of it looked, I'm just going to be honest, horrible. So we don't have any information just yet on how the driver in the situation may be doing, whether there were any passengers in the vehicle or whether another vehicle was impacted as well. We just have the one car so far. After we get more information, I'll try to update you guys in real time. Meanwhile, at the same exact time, out in Los Angeles Stadium, the U.S. men's national team, Team USA, is already out on the field. They're getting ready for this big match against Turkey. That takes place at 10 o'clock. You can see there from this angle, there are already people in the stands. It's not packed just yet, but trust and believe it's going to be a full house. There are a lot of people who want to see how the U.S. is going to do tonight. Keep in mind, this isn't the most important match of the entire FIFA World Cup. Team USA is good either way it goes. It's just interesting to see, again, how many points they end up putting up against Turkey. It'll only help them in the long run. You can see some of the players fraternizing out there on the pitch. Again, just getting warmed up, getting ready, getting acclimated with the field before this big game takes place at 10 o'clock. There are plenty of fans out here in the city of Philadelphia getting ready for it too. We've been touching base with a couple of different watch parties. We'll head out to another one before the show is over. Don't you worry. But still, a lot more news to get you on out to. I mentioned that I wanted to talk to you guys about SNAP benefits and what changes may be coming. So let's get on into it. You're taking a live look at the White House. A federal judge has blocked a Trump administration effort restricting SNAP food benefit uses. The judge is ruling that the Agriculture Department lacks the authority to ban using SNAP benefits to buy some things like soft drinks, so soda or candy. There are a couple of different states who have received approval from the department to enact the ban earlier this year. But SNAP recipients in 5 different states, the filed suit, say that the move could destabilize food access. So they're saying, why are you trying to tell us what we can and cannot use our SNAP benefits for? There are already a lot of restrictions for us. This just makes it harder. Meanwhile, a House subcommittee is investigating how there may be some waste, fraud, and abuse in the SNAP program, more specifically among the recipients. And earlier today, they held a meeting where they got to talk a little bit more about what they think the problem is and how they think they can solve it. I want to let you listen in to just a little bit of what they had to say.
Us getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse in our government is extremely important. Ms. Gessler, I think you mentioned $184 billion in fraud in just a year. I'm on the Appropriations Committee, and only 2 of our appropriations bills that fund the government are over that amount. So that's significant with what we could be doing or returning to the American people if we could rein in the waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm also constantly amazed by how much we try to measure compassion by how many dollars go out the door, how many people are on the rolls, without looking at to whether it's going to accomplish those needs. I appreciate, Mr. Walk, what you had pointed out, that some of these dollars are actually being used fraudulently by gangs to buy drugs and guns and nefarious activities, not to mention some of it going overseas to bad actors and all those different kind of things. It's important that we make sure that it's going to do exactly what it was supposed to do. I note that SNAP has almost doubled in the last 5 years. Meanwhile, the poverty rate in our country is roughly where it was about 5 years ago, within a percentage. And so it seems like maybe there's some overhead. Recently, just in the data shared, as the chairman had mentioned, $3 billion a year in potential waste, fraud, and abuse just among the states that have shared information. 186 deceased individuals who are on the rolls. Now, if we take those off the rolls and the numbers of SNAP beneficiaries went down, what you'd hear is, children are not being fed from the left, but actually we're just trying to make sure that we're not sending money to people who are not alive anymore. There are 356 to 500,000 duplicate enrollees, so some of these are people who are enrolled in multiple states. I think, Ms. Gressler, you had talked about that. Some up to 6 states that we know of, and this is of the states sharing information. I would think that those states not sharing information, that potentially the problem's worse, and maybe that's not why they're sharing information. Who knows? Ms. Roy, you talked about the checkbox that, all you have to do is say, are you not receiving? Us hoping that those committing fraud would be honest on their application, right? This is the big check we have. Ms. Gressler, I was wondering if you could speak to, and maybe we'll go down the line, to you mentioned some of them, but some of the protections that we could put in place to make sure that the SNAP benefits are going to those who are truly in need, and that we're making sure that the federal taxpayers. I was really struck by your thought of what we require the information of those paying taxes into. Those who are basically footing the bill for SNAP, we require to know every dollar that they're making. But those who are receiving the benefits, it doesn't seem like we have that same sort of.
Yes, thank you. And I want to go over 2 things. And the first is looking at and addressing the benefits that the government delivers the same as the taxes it collects. And so what we need to do is establish some new 1099 reporting forms. If you receive a Social Security benefit, you file that with your taxes each year. We should be able to have every benefit that goes out the door, a beginning to an end accounting of that. And then you can have a situation where automatically this gets detected. The Department of Justice announced a $6.5 billion fraud takedown yesterday, 455 dependents, healthcare programs. Some of those were stolen identities, and then the individuals had benefits claimed on the stolen identities individual's behalf. Well, if you don't have that individual claiming on their form that they received that benefit, that's going to be an automatic trigger to look back to the next step, the next pathway in this, beginning to end accounting to say, were you the point of fraud, or was it that next one? But you should be able to follow that end to end. And the second is getting rid of these eligibility loopholes. If you look at the 7 states that actually use the federal standards instead of this categorical eligibility, they have 50% fewer people on SNAP, and they have the exact same poverty rate.
It seems to me that states are actually incentivized to just get more people in the rolls, whether it's valid or not.
It's money into the state, and they pay $0 of it.
Yeah, Ms. Royal, did you want to speak to that?
Having access to the National Accuracy Clearinghouse, which is a nationwide database that would provide information to states to prevent or identify dual enrollment, would be critical. The next thing, ID verification to make sure that a person applying for the benefits is not deceased, is who they say they are, and we can make sure, again, that the benefits are issued accurately. Ending self-attestation. Someone can go in and submit an application and answer a question with a shoulder shrug and still receive benefits. So verifying the information provided for eligibility would be significant. Increasing the retention amount. So when a state has determined that benefits have been issued to a household that they shouldn't have received, when the state recovers that, they're able to retain a portion of that money. And increasing that percentage to incentivize states to actually identify and prosecute or prevent and detect fraud would be substantial. And finally, requiring that retention money be used for the prevention, detection, and prosecution of fraud. Often, many states just roll that into their general fund, so investigators continue to be understaffed and undersourced.
Thank you. My time's up, Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Timmons, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for holding this hearing. There's a huge opportunity to get government benefits to people that need them and deny government benefits to people that do not qualify for them. And it's an incredibly important issue. Hundreds of billions of dollars every decade are lost to waste, fraud, and abuse. And we've actually been working on a bill that actually passed this committee. It passed this committee unanimously. That doesn't happen often, but it's called the TABS Act, Timely and Accurate Benefits. And what it does is it uses technology to confirm that a person does not make enough money. And what you do is you log into a website, you then go to your bank, you then go to your Cash App, your Zelle, your Venmo, and you would then get benefits immediately. And if you make too much money, you do not get benefits. And it is just using technology to make sure that we're being efficient with our resources. Ms. Royal, are you familiar with this proposal?
I'm not familiar with the proposal, but based on what you described, I'm going to get familiar with it because it sounds wonderful.
So the Congressional Budget Office scored it as costing $500,000 over a 10-year window, which I think is ridiculous. There was a pilot program where it was implemented in Missouri, and it saved 20%. It saved 20%. We spend $1.5 trillion on social safety nets. 20% of that is a lot of money. And over a 10-year budget window, it's $2+ trillion. So, and again, that's not money that it's money that we could put to better use because it's people that need it. And so I think that we need to get the TABS Act on the floor, and we need to get it passed, because giving states the ability to get a better picture of an individual's earning capacity is step one. And this is actually really exciting, because the first thing we do is we use technology to get a better understanding of whether people actually qualify for it. The second part is more critically important, and that's we end the benefits cliff. So right now, you got people that are gaming the system, and I would too. If I needed these benefits, I would game the system. But if you make more than a certain amount of money, you lose all your benefits. And that's not helpful. You're not helping people get out of the situation they're in. So if you stratify them to say, all right, you're going to get this amount for now, we could even give more at the beginning and create an incentive structure to get out of whatever their situation they're in to end the benefits cliff. We can't do that now because it's too complicated. But with technology, we could. Ms. Platanino, does that make sense to you, to use technology to get people benefits faster and then create incentive structures to help them get back on their feet? Does that make sense?
I think that's what every person who's applying for SNAP benefits would like. No one wants to be in the program. If the economy and jobs was strong, individuals would not be in the program.
And I think we agree that we have an obligation to help people that are down on their luck. I mean, that's what these social safety nets are for, but they're not designed for generational cyclical poverty. If a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter have all experienced the need for SNAP benefits, our social safety nets are not working. I mean, because that is not the desired outcome. It should be a transitory opportunity for them to get back on their feet. Ms. Kressler, this makes sense. Is this not just a no-brainer? We have the ability to use this technology. It's been tested, and we could literally transform our social safety nets. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and we've seen yesterday with the Department of Justice's announcement of fraud that there are advanced techniques that are being used, and yet there are still many silos that are out there. And so in the same way that we need the data to no longer to be siloed so that you can also deliver benefits more quickly, we also need the welfare programs to not be siloed so that individuals, it's always got to be work-oriented welfare. And oftentimes you do face these benefit cliffs, and you may not know that if I take this benefit, I'm going to lose this benefit. And so to have a coordinated system, Congress has allowed Utah to do it because they were grandfathered in, but currently prevents the other states from adopting this like one-door model that actually helps individuals get into work instead of trapping them in a maze of welfare.
And we have the ability to do all of this, and this committee has seen it appropriate to pass a bill unanimously, and it's currently waiting a vote on the floor. The TABS Act has the ability to transform our social safety nets and to save billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. So we're going to be pushing to get a vote on that on the floor. And again, using technology to get benefits quickly to people that deserve them and deny individuals that are trying to take advantage of the system is just, it's a no-brainer, and we have to do this. We're $40 trillion in debt. We're running out of opportunities to start saving money. So, Mr. Chairman, I really appreciate you holding this hearing, and with that, I yield back. Thanks.
All right, so that's just a little bit of this meeting. It was much longer, but that gives you a gist of what they're arguing about here, and also some of the questions that they want to know the answers to. Again, this is all as it relates to SNAP, the benefits that people under a certain income level tend to use to pay for their food, to put food on the table for their families. Again, the government is trying to look and see where fraud, where other harmful things within the system itself may exist. So that's what's going on there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, yet another ruling by another judge. This one is finding that President Donald Trump's attempts to try to change who can get a mail-in voter ballot changes. We'll talk about it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Before we get into the latest of the mail-in voting ballot debacle with President Donald Trump, I want to, it just ended. Okay, I was going to share with you guys a live interview from the coach for the U.S. men's soccer team. Unfortunately, he did just wrap up. So let's move right along. Earlier today, a federal judge in Boston actually decided to block some of President Donald Trump's executive order to limit Americans' ability to vote by mail, or at least who can receive a mail-in ballot. The president was hoping to enlist the help of the United States Postal Service. Fortunately, because of this particular blocking from that judge, it's going to take some more time to get what he wants done. Now, the big thing here, though, is that the Trump administration can still appeal, so it's likely that they will. In the meantime, though, Governor Josh Shapiro from here in Pennsylvania actually addressed this on his Twitter account, his X account. He says, breaking, we just won in court again to protect Pennsylvanians' right to vote by mail. Donald Trump's illegal and unconstitutional executive order sought to undermine eligible voters' ability to make their voices heard in our democracy. Our Constitution is clear. The authority to set our election rules belong to the states. The right to vote is the foundation of our democracy, and I will take on anyone, up to and including the president, who tries to undermine the fundamental right. Now, keep in mind where people kind of differ on this problem here. It's two different sides to this. You've got the administration side, where they say they think and feel that they're seeing a lot of election fraud, and they're trying to find different ways to cut back on that. And so in trying to decide and limit who can actually receive a mail-in ballot, they're thinking that that may be a way where they can try to limit the amount of fraud that they're seeing in the elections. On the other side of things, you're also having people who say this is kind of infringing on our rights, one, but also two, they're saying that that is something that's up to the states, to Congress. It's not one of the jobs, one of the rights of the President of the United States, because we do have a separation of powers. We've got the three branches of government, so the executive, the judicial, and where Congress is the legislative branch. So everybody has their own job, and they're saying that they should all be kept separate. So that's what's going on there. In the meantime, have you guys seen what's going on with student loans? Got another blocking here. So a U.S. judge has blocked the Trump administration's new student loan restrictions. So this particular judge, it's a federal judge, has decided to block the Trump administration from implementing a new rule that would impose lower federal student loan limits for people who are pursuing graduate degrees, as in the nursing or some other healthcare related fields. This rule in particular, would go into effect July 1st. This kind of puts a pause on that, what's happening there. And I thought it was interesting that we've got this particular headline because, again, July 1st is going to be a big day for anybody who's got a student loan and is trying to figure out how they're going to pay it. Keep in mind, if anybody was under the Biden administration's SAVE plan, which meant you either weren't paying student loans at all because you weren't required to, or you were probably paying a lot less than normally you would see yourself paying, that's going to change very, very soon. We've got literally about 5-6 days before you are going to be forced out of that plan. And if you don't do anything, I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably looking at the most expensive option because the government will choose a plan for you, and it's likely not going to be the one in your best interest. So take a look now, if you can, at your loan servicer's website, check things out, and take a look at the other plans that are available to you. See what works with your current salary, what makes sense, and you can also call your servicer too to try to work some things out. There are a lot of different ways that you can get around this, or at least through this, I should say. I know a lot of other people are looking into options for student loan forgiveness, and that's not completely out of the question either. I'm hearing that there may be some chatter on trying to forgive more student loans before this July 1st deadline. So you heard it here first. We'll see what happens with that. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk to our Jake Leonard about what's trending. What are people looking into? What are they reading? What are they watching? We'll get into that when we come back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Got Jake Leonard up here with us.
Hey, hey.
Hey, what are the people talking about online?
Okay, so I was super excited because I was looking at our website, fox29.com, the top stories, and it was a story about Taylor Swift.
Of course it was.
And yeah, you're probably like, why do we have Fox 29 Philly? Why is our top story about Taylor? Now, you know, she has many local ties to the area. Originally, she's from Berks County, and now she's set to marry Travis Kelce, whose brother is Jason Kelce. And so, if you guys weren't aware, if you didn't tune in yesterday there was a big event down the shore. Our Chris O'Connell was there. Basically, Jason held this awesome fundraiser to raise money for the Eagles Autism Foundation.
Yeah.
And so he was being a celebrity bartender.
Which was hilarious
Yes, it
to
was
watch, by
so
the way.
awesome to watch. He had current Eagles players, former Eagles players. Kylie was there. But you know who else was there? Ed Kelce. And so Chris was doing one of his live shots for us, and he happened to run into Ed, and he took the advantage to ask the question that was on everyone's mind. So why don't you take a look and see what he said about the wedding?
Look who's here, Ed Kelce. Ed, first of all, your son, what he's doing, this is amazing. 6 year doing it.
Yeah, it is. It's been a lot of fun every year.
You got to be proud of him.
Oh, I'm proud of him for a lot of reasons, both of them. They have made a point of giving back to the community. Certainly Jason here in Philly, and Travis in Kansas City. They do a lot. They should do a lot.
Yeah.
They know that. That's not. I don't think that's a chore so much as it is a responsibility they accept along with the paycheck, you know what I mean?
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, how excited are you for an upcoming wedding and gaining a daughter-in-law?
I am super excited. She is a sweetheart. That is truly the girl next door. Just like Kylie.
Thank you. Ed Kelce, appreciate it. Look at him working. He's collecting money here. A great, great event. Once again, $2.2 million over the past 6 years, and it continues to be one of the premier events down the shore this summer, guys.
Oh, that is so
Right?
cute.
Isn't that so cute? Like, just like Kylie, girl next door. Like, hearing him talk about her, it's like crazy. Like, that must be, I mean, obviously, you know, the Kelce's a very successful family, and I know Donna and Ed obviously have been in the spotlight for so long, you know, with both boys playing football, but to all of a sudden have Taylor Swift as your daughter-in-law is crazy. I mean, well, they already have, in my opinion, the Princess of Philadelphia, Kylie Kelce, as one daughter-in-law, and now they're gonna have Princess of America, Taylor Swift. I mean, they're both kind of legends.
They did all right. Your boys did all right.
Yeah, I think it's it's gonna be Kylie, Jason, Travis, Taylor. Like, that's kind of a amazing group. I don't know, maybe we'll have them having more appearances in Philly. Maybe Taylor will pop up. I remember, I think it was last Mother's Day or whatever, they were spotted at a pretty famous restaurant in the area. So the local connection is definitely cool. And, you know, we'll never forget that before she was a Chiefs fan, she was an Eagles fan first. She even sings about it in one of her songs. So.
Okay. I have something that I think may knock your socks off
Okay.
because I know how much of a Swiftie you are.
Okay. I'm ready.
So you probably already heard about this one. Let me start here first. A friend of mine sent this to me. It says that Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce have reportedly filed a permit request to close streets around Madison Square Garden from July 2nd to the 4th. So that's just the first part. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh. And then I had to run to TMZ because they're the ones who broke that news. They've got another article up that may also confirm the MSG news here. They say they've confirmed the pair is having that gathering of about 100 people on July 2nd, the day before the main wedding celebration is set to go down. And according to them, the New York Times reported on that news.
Wow.
So what's happening?
Listen, I kind of, when this rumor came out, I was like, there's no way. Me and all my friends were like, there's no way. It seemed almost like a red herring, try to get people off their scent. But the closer we get, the more I'm like, this could be legit. I also saw somewhere that allegedly a bunch of Chiefs players are booking rooms at hotels in New York around MSG for that weekend.
They're just really excited to see the one Philly Unity concert.
Yes,
That's
yes,
all it is.
exactly. am having a really hard time wrapping my head around how they're going to get, I mean, I'm sure they're going to find a way, but how are they going to get everybody in and out of MSG without lots of attention? I mean, I guess
they're not going to be able to do it.
Like-
Let's just be honest. But keep in mind, I mean, the Met Gala, they're able to get some of the hottest
Right.
celebrities in and out of their hotels
And no one
into
sees.
the Met.
No
yeah,
one
and you don't
sees.
see their outfit until
But like,
they actually get on the red
but like the
carpet.
thing about this is like everyone knows it's going to be at MSG now, so it's like all the eyes are going to be there. There's going to be so many cameras, so many people watching. So I mean, like, I feel like they're doing it. They must be so calculated, and they definitely thought this through. So I bet that they have something in place, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't be doing it like this.
You know what
so
I think? I think they're gonna block off the street. I think they're gonna have one of those like tunnels over the door to the hotel to the bus that might take everybody down to
Right.
the MSG.
Right.
I think they're gonna ride down. They're gonna put that tunnel back up into MSG. I think
right?
it's gonna be a
It's gonna
whole
be
thing.
it's gonna be something like that. All I know is that when the wedding happens, because I think it's supposed to happen on Friday, next Friday, the 3rd. I think.
They were saying the day before.
Uh,
yeah, the 3rd. That's what
Okay, yeah, so-
TMZ and New York Times are saying.
We'll be here and we'll be on wedding watch. So look forward to that, people.
This is the hard-hitting journalism that the people need. Jake, thank you so much for talking to us about
Thank
what's
you.
trending out there. You guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, I want to get you back into some of our top news of the day. We're going to talk about some heavier stories, 2 huge fires that ripped through our area, how the people who live there are now, trying to recover. We'll also be talking to you about an officer-involved shooting involving a 19-year-old. We'll get into it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. In just under an hour, Team USA will take on Turkey for their FIFA World Cup match at Los Angeles Stadium. You're taking a live look at the area surrounding it. Fans have already come out trying to pack the stands. We'll check in one last time a little later on just to see how many people are getting out there, but also in our neck of the woods here in Philadelphia, where people are choosing to watch the match. Again, that gets started at 10 o'clock, so if you're looking for that, that's going to be available for you on Fox Sports, or you can watch it on Fox and watch it on the broadcast. Now, let's get into some of our biggest news of the day. We got word that there was a shooting involving a police officer and a 19-year-old. This 19-year-old died during that shooting. It happened in Wilmington, and the teenager's father is speaking out. So we are hearing that that 19-year-old was running from the police. Something of the sort was going on down in Wilmington. They say that the 19-year-old was seen pointing a gun toward a crowd, and that is why the police decided to chase him. The 19-year-old's father has spoken to Fox 29 and says that there are actually some conflicting stories out there about what took place, and he wants to tell his part. So first, let's tell you what the police are saying. They're saying that officers were patrolling the area near 24th and Jessup Street in Wilmington. This was about after 11 o'clock last night. They say they saw a huge gathering, a crowd, and from there, people told the police, according to the officials, that a 19-year-old pointed a gun at the crowd. So again, they say they were called to the scene. They rushed the suspect. They say that during that kind of confrontation, an officer discharged their weapon and struck the suspect. This is part of a quote that I'm paraphrasing here. He says that that 19-year-old was taken to the hospital where he died. Now, according to the father, Darrell Dollard, he says that his name is Kadir Skinner, and he says that there was a commotion in the area. There was a crowd. Once he got to the scene, all he knew was his son had been shot. He says he tried to ask the police about what happened, and he says that he was maced by one of the officers. So he also says that the police didn't tell him what actually happened to his son until hours later at the hospital. That's when the police made a social media post. So he says he didn't know anything, even though he was waiting in the hospital. He had to find out about it through social media. He says whatever happened between them, it's not right that they didn't address him. He says, and I quote, "Nobody came and talked to me and said anything to me. It's not right." So he says what he's hearing from police is also different from what he's hearing from people who say that they were witnesses to what took place out there. And he's just hoping that somebody somewhere along the lines can help it make sense for him. All he knows is that his 19-year-old son is no longer here with him. Last night, we were battling a big fire, and I heard there was another one earlier this morning. So let's start with this refinery fire. I'm hearing that Monroe Energy Refinery, it's a company, went up in flames. One employee was hurt during this incident. It's not quite clear what caused this fire, but you can see some of the video that our Skyfox was able to capture where it looks like a couple of different flames just spouting about from the inside. Of course, our firefighters, our first responders rushed to the scene to try to put it out as quickly as possible. Now, a big question that a lot of people had, when you're seeing big, thick, black smoke like that, that cannot be good for us to breathe in. So a lot of people were wondering what was going on with the quality of the air, especially for our more sensitive community members like the elderly, people who have asthma. Well, according to officials and to Monroe Energy, they say that the air quality is just fine. There are no risks to human health. They say that they've been monitoring the air in the area through the Delaware County Local Emergency Planning Committee. And again, they're saying there are no risks to human health. One employee, though, who works there at Monroe was hurt. They're not explaining exactly what the injury was, but they say it was non-life threatening. They were taken off site to get some medical treatment, and they say that they will keep the community informed on how he or she is progressing. Again, the exact cause of that fire has not been determined just yet. They also haven't given us a timeline for when the investigation into what took place there could be completed, but that is what happened at Monroe Energy Refinery earlier today. Last night, there was a huge fire also in the Allentown area. We were actually able to live stream some of it as our Skyfox flew over the scene. So you're taking a look at some of that video. This fire was massive. They had fire trucks surrounding the building, all pumping water into it as quickly as they could, as much as they could, and it took a long time just to get it under control. They're saying over 2,000 people who live nearby ended up losing their power. Some of them were forced to evacuate when this all took place. Now, this building that is huge, I was wondering what kind of facility was it, because at the time we did hear it was some sort of commercial building. It used to be a furniture factory, but according to officials, no one was working in there as currently. So it should have been abandoned. This is the 300 block of Front Street. That fire broke out at around 8:30 p.m. last night. Again, large flames consumed the structure. It was the former site of that furniture factory that I was telling you about. That fire rose to a 6-alarm fire. That is insane. So we know, again, residents were asked to evacuate the area. We're hearing that over 2,000 people lost power, but right about early Thursday morning, about only 1,000 people still were without power. We're hoping that everybody now has been fully restored, but if you have not, and maybe you're watching this just on a phone, this live stream on a phone, please let us know that you don't have power in your area. So far, and this is like the silver lining out of all of this, we're not hearing about any injuries at this point in time. So that's the latest of some of our biggest news stories of the day. We keep our eyes as the Team USA, the U.S. men's soccer team, still getting ready for their big match against Turkey. Fox Sports is providing this live video that you're seeing right here. This is the inside of Los Angeles Stadium. Of course, we'll only be able to show you what's happening on the inside of the stadium for just a little while longer, because that game gets started at 10 o'clock, and once that happens, we lose our permission, our ability to share this with you. You'll have to watch the actual match itself on either Fox Sports, or you'll have to tune in to our Fox broadcast. So that's what's going on the TV side of things. There are a couple of different ways that you can stream, but it will not be available for you right here on the free Fox Local app. Just giving you all the heads up. We'll keep you up to date on everything that's happened out there. If there are any other pre-match interviews, we'll try to bring you those as well. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We got a lot of FIFA World Cup stuff going on tonight. In just a little while, we're talking about almost 45 minutes. Team USA is expected to take on Turkey. It's been a full day for fans who are out here in Philadelphia. Earlier, Curaçao's fans rushed through our streets. They had a giant parade. They were so excited. You see them there. Everybody is really, really happy talking to our cameras. They were fully expecting to come out with a win tonight, and that's just not what happened. I actually heard that Ivory Coast, who they were up against, actually won. Funny, I have to laugh because that one sign says we already won, and honey, no you didn't. Okay, so here's a time lapse of their parade though. Like I said, so many people out. You can see the guy who's always decked out in blue. He paints his face blue, almost leading the march, you guys. But again, as our Skyfox zooms out, you can see just how many people filled the streets. We're probably talking about hundreds. I had thought maybe close to 1,000. I'm not quite sure. But that was the situation earlier today. Again, the Curacao fans, they were so happy to be out there, happy to root on their team. They marched their way to Philadelphia Stadium. But again, unfortunately, they didn't come out on top. Ivory Coast beat them 2-0. Meanwhile, I'm hearing word from our local officials. This comes in from the FIFA World Cup, but they say they figured out these numbers and cracked these numbers after we held that match that I was just talking about, that Curacao versus Ivory Coast match. So according to the FIFA World Cup 2026, they say we've made history today, becoming the most attended FIFA World Cup in history, like ever. And they say we surpassed the previous record of 3,587,538 fans that was set at the FIFA World Cup USA 1994. So, like, give it up to us. We're doing a great job. Very welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcoming in people, showing people a good time. And again, they say that we were able to do it. They cracked those numbers after our match here. So you can see with that giant parade, yeah, of course this was the place to be. Everybody wants to see what the beginning of America really looked like, and it happened here in the city of Philadelphia. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on those numbers for you guys, but I just thought that was really interesting. Keep in mind, I think on like day 2 of FIFA Fan Fest, the mayor was saying that we had one of the biggest FIFA Fan Fest audiences of all of the other cities. So it's just been a really good time to be us, and I love that for us. So a lot of things have been going on today. After we found out that Ivory Coast did beat Curacao, like literally minutes after, Chris O'Connell was live out on the scenes right outside the stadium, and he got to talk to some fans. Let's listen in.
Game number 4 here in Philly, now in the books. Ivory Coast.
We had a quick technical difficulty. It's all right. He was basically talking to some fans who had come out to see the match, and a couple of them were saying how they were just excited to be there. He also talked to some Ivory Coast fans. Okay, looks like we got it. Let's go ahead and take it.
Game number 4 here in Philly, now in the books. Ivory Coast winning against Curacao in a pivotal game, and a little bit of history. The Elephants moving on to the knockout round for the first time in the country's history. And joining me now, your name?
Nakuti.
Nakuti, you are from Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Tell me, what was it like in there to see your country advance to the next round?
It was amazing. Thank you, USA. Thank you, Curacao. Thank you, the world. Ivorian, we win. Thank you for everything.
How did you enjoy Philadelphia?
It was nice. Now I'm going to enjoy.
Now it's time to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead. Have fun. Nice to meet you. Love your hair. That's what it's about. All right, take a look at some video from earlier. It was a party here outside of Philadelphia Stadium. Yes, a big soccer party, the sights and sounds of FIFA-delphia. Fans from all over the world flocking here. Ivory Coast, Curacao, the first trip to the World Cup for many of these fans, and it was a bucket list for many, including some U.S. fans.
To see the world's finest athletes playing at their best, whatever happens, whatever the score is, as long as they play their hearts out, we all love them. Whatever country you're from, you're all welcome here. It's all about the love.
I've traveled a bunch, so I love traveling, and I love people from other cultures, and so, like, this is a blast for me. And I've been telling a lot of people that are Philadelphia sports fans, that are huge sports fans, I'm like, wait till you meet the world fans, because they're a whole different breed. I mean, we're Go Birds, but they are that much bigger.
Back out here live, you see some of the 67,000 fans making their way out. Once again, game number 4 here at Philadelphia Stadium, now in the books. And you probably see some U.S. jerseys in the crowds because a lot of these fans are going right from here to Philadelphia Stadium, right up to Fan Fest on Lemon Hill to catch the late game. Of course, you'll see it right here on Fox. Team USA and Turkey tonight here on Fox. The World Cup magic continues here in Philly.
It sure does. In about 40 minutes, it will continue. We've got fans out here. The game is happening all the way in Los Angeles Stadium. It doesn't matter. People are getting out to the bars, to some of the watch parties that are happening. Some people are even outside just like looking for watch parties. Like, people are a little bit of everywhere. And I want to make sure that the weather's going to be okay for them, especially those who are going out to FIFA Fan Fest. So I want to check in with Scott Williams, one of our meteorologists. Scott, how's the weather looking tonight?
Yeah, it looks great for tonight, Judea. No weather worries. Temperatures today made it to 87 degrees. Current numbers at 77 degrees. We do have a few thunderstorms well to the north and west. These will likely clip sections of the Poconos a little later on this evening, maybe even parts of the Lehigh Valley, but they should stay away from the Philadelphia area for fans that will be out and about at Fan Fest or just taking a stroll through Center City. Right now it's 77 degrees. Still really comfortable stepping outdoors as well. Can't really say that about your Friday. An increase in the humidity as well as those temperatures, and then temperatures will be cooler for Saturday. And yes, some rainfall will be moving in overnight Friday into the balance of the day on Saturday. But temperatures for tonight around 71 for Philadelphia. We'll get into the 60s for those outlying suburbs. And look at those rainfall chances really ramping up. Friday overnight, we'll put it at 60%. And then as we move towards Saturday, it's about a 90% to 100% chance that we'll see some type of rainfall during the day. We could see most of the first half of the day pretty damp and dreary. Some of the latest computer models showing that we will see most of it in the morning into the early afternoon time frame. But as we look at that forecast over the next several days, we're going into the upper 80s for your Friday. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. That humidity starts to increase as well. And then a little cooler. You can see those temperatures likely only in the 70s for Saturday. Rounds of showers. Not really looking at thunderstorms, so even if the rain continues, the match on Saturday starts kickoff at 5 o'clock. There could be some clouds. There could be a few leftover showers, so we're going to be timing everything out. Sunday, the pick day of the upcoming weekend. But take a look at the forecast for Saturday, of course. Looking at those clouds, cooler temperatures, on and off again showers. We're looking at about an inch of rain for most. Some locations could end up with as much as 2 inches of rain. So we'll go hour by hour on Saturday for FIFA. Those temperatures in the morning, low 70s, looking damp, looking dreary for most of the day. But you can see as we get toward the afternoon, yeah, we're still cloudy, we're still cool, but the rainfall chances should start to diminish as we approach kickoff. But take a look at this computer model showing you those rounds of rain beginning as early as Saturday morning across the area, and then we'll continue with the clouds, those showers out there, as some of those computer models are saying about an inch for most locations. Then those temperatures move to around 90 degrees by Monday, low 90s Tuesday. Now, I prepared you for this earlier in the week. I said July's coming in hot as a firecracker. Look at those triple digits as we get toward Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, that's not the feels like temperature. That's the air temperature. So that's that heat danger. Exactly, right? Can you believe it? I mean, we are talking about our 4th heat wave of the year. And look at these numbers. Just take it all in, Judea. We're 90 degrees starting Monday. And then look at those triple digit high temperatures. Even for the 4th of July. Still looking at numbers in the low 90s. So this could be our longest heat wave of the year. And I mean, it is really going to be dangerous with that building heat up toward the 4th of July.
Scott, I'm sitting here looking at your set.
I know, but look, I tried to prepare you. I tried to prepare our viewers as well. You know, so.
You know, I'm looking at it and I was
come on, Hot
like,
Lana. Come on, come on, Hot Lana.
Atlanta Heat and Philadelphia Heat are two completely different heats. I don't know why, but they are.
Right. It is.
Yeah, you know that too.
Yeah,
You've been there.
yeah.
What I was saying though, like, I'm looking at your 7-day and I'm sitting here like, how did I not notice 102 degrees, 99 degrees before? And that's because the president was speaking earlier on when we normally get to talk to you and run through our forecast.
Mhm.
So just like our viewers are seeing this for the first time, I'm seeing it for the first time too.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it is going to be brutal. That
Yeah.
building heat dome, we're really going to have to take it easy. So once we get beyond this weekend, I think all eyes are really going to be on that heat for next week and leading up to the 4th of July. We've got folks coming in town, celebrations, and I mean, the heat can really just zap you if you don't take it easy, listen to your body. But you have your water bottle, Judea. I know you have your water. Yep, there you go. You're going to need a little more than that. You're going to need a little more than that next week.
I'm going to be walking around here with a gallon. Have you seen people do that?
Yeah.
It's usually when people are trying to lose weight.
I might be
that's
joining
me.
you too. I might have to join you too.
Oh, we're going to have to do something. Put the electrolytes in it or something.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you so much for giving us a look at our forecast. Oh, my goodness. When I saw that, I was just hoping that I was reading it incorrectly, and then he addressed it like, no, you're seeing what you're supposed to see. These aren't the feel-like temperatures. That's what it's actually going to be. So then it makes me think, what is it going to feel like? If it's 102 actually, what is it going to feel like? We'll get there when we get there. That's just a day that I'm going to have to stay inside. That's going to be a day where you are going to want to keep your eyes on, where the cooling centers are. Make sure you've got that water on deck like we've been telling you. Make sure you eat that day, especially if you have a job that's outdoors. A lot of people are not allowing their employees to come in. That's a whole situation in and of itself. But just make sure that you and your loved ones are being as safe as possible. And we'll try to get you guys the safety information that you need as well. Whew, it's gonna be a hot one. All right, let's get into this earthquake situation. It was a back-to-back earthquakes that hit Venezuela. Really, really tough there. You guys are seeing earlier, they were showing us some video of construction crews trying to take apart what they could of these buildings that were hit, that a lot of them came crumbling down. We're hearing that at least 188 people have been confirmed to be dead, but they're expecting that maybe close to 1,000 or so could still be out there missing. And so in these situations, part of it is search and rescue. Some part of it is just making sure that they're taking down these buildings, just to try and make sure that they don't come down even more and potentially crush people who may still be inside. That is a very hard way to say what's happening here, but that is the reality. So if this is your first time hearing about the Venezuela earthquakes, let me take a step back and walk you through what happened. Late last night, we were on this stream, Philadelphia Live, and we got word that around 8-something p.m. our time, there was a 7.2 earthquake that had hit the region. We were thinking it was somewhere close to Caracas. Now, we're hearing that less than a minute later, a second earthquake hit. Magnitude 7.5 earthquake had hit the area. Now, keep in mind, this is an area that's already trying to get it together. Keep in mind, at the top of the year, the U.S. went in and took out their leader at the time, or at least their self-proclaimed leader at the time. And so they had gone through a whole time period of just trying to get their government back together and in running order, when a couple of months later, there's this. They say it's gonna hit their economy terribly. We know that the death toll could be potentially in the thousands. So we're hearing as well that there are plenty of organizations throughout the U.S. that are trying their best to offer what they can, donate what they can to the families who live there, people who are still trying to see if their family members are somewhere out there and alive. Also family members from here in the U.S. hearing more about people who have lost their businesses, their livelihoods. We're hearing about organizations here in Philadelphia that are doing their part, and earlier we got to have a report from Fox News where a lot of families in Miami are doing their part as well. I'm hearing that Miami actually is home to one of the biggest Venezuelan populations outside of Venezuela itself. So again, we're hearing that it was a 7.2 earthquake and then a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, both striking Venezuela seconds apart from one another. This is among the strongest of earthquakes ever felt in Venezuela in more than a century, and it was felt all throughout the region. In addition to the people who have already been proclaimed to be dead, some of the people who are proclaimed to be missing, we know that some 1,500 people have been confirmed to be injured. So we're hoping that we get more information on people who turn up alive, more survivors, but we'll also be reporting the death toll as it may climb. That's what a lot of people are expecting to see happen in the time being. All right, we are going to take a quick commercial break, you guys. We'll get into some more of our news of the day. Keep in mind, in about 30 minutes, Team USA is expected to take on Turkey. We'll get into that as well. And then I also want to talk about some of our trending topics. Still got a lot of news ahead. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. The House is pressing the Senate to go ahead and pass the Save America Act. President Donald Trump says he's not going to do much more until that act does turn into law, until it gets on his desk. So I want to let you guys listen in. The House Freedom Caucus actually held a press conference a little earlier on today. Take a listen to what they had to say to the Senate.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming. This is a very, very important time in the life of this country, and no bill is more important than the Save America Act. The president did the right thing yesterday by canceling the bill signing unless the SAVE Act is attached. I personally think we should not have any more legislation until the Senate comes back in session, and they're out for 2 weeks, ironically. So this bill is per the Constitution. This bill is common sense. I want to thank Chip Roy and Mike Lee for cranking this thing up. It was passed by the House in 2025. It was passed January 29th of this year, and we still don't have the SAVE Act being brought up. this group of congressmen know the importance of it, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to stand up. And frankly, we ought to be doing this every week we're in session. What this bill does is pretty simple in that it establishes procedures for citizenship. You have to have documentary proof. It requires reasonable accommodations for those who are disabled. And folks, bottom line, we want Americans picking who represents us at every level. And now's the time to act. We call on the Senate to move on this. And you'll hear from the different speakers that will emphasize the importance of this. And I think if we can't do this, it's a failure of both Democrats and Republicans. Speaking first is the original author, Congressman Chip Roy.
Well, I want to thank Ralph. I want to thank my colleagues here, members of the House Freedom Caucus, great patriots that I'm proud to serve with. 2 years ago, when I worked to draft this legislation, I worked intently with a number of folks who are currently in the administration in the White House. I worked with Senator Mike Lee, worked with my colleagues here, Cleta Mitchell, one of the most highly respected election lawyers in the nation. And we drafted a simple bill, and it's not complicated. The American people understand it, and that's why it's so important. Only American citizens should vote in American elections. Voter ID should apply in federal elections. The Constitution is clear that we have authority to address this matter, both from the standpoint of handling immigration and dealing with the rules involving our own elections. This is something that the American people want us to do. Very clearly, this is something that the President of the United States wants to see accomplished by virtue of his actions yesterday with respect to the housing bill, but also in his messaging, he's been very clear about this. The only question before us right now is whether the Senate will put America first or continue to put the Senate first. That's what the question is. We're trying to say that the Senate needs to move forward and to force this through using all of the tools at their disposal and to stop hiding behind fake thresholds that the Senate itself has put in place. There is no constitutional requirement for 60 votes. Now, look, I want to pause for a second. I'm a former creature of the Senate, chief of staff to Ted Cruz. I was a lawyer on the Senate Judiciary Committee. I understand the Senate better than, frankly, most. The fact is, we have procedures for the Senate to be the cooling saucer, and no one here is suggesting we shouldn't have that. No one is saying that the Senate shouldn't be able to have rules, to be able to be the historic cooling saucer that it's been. But for senators to blindly ignore the history of the Senate in being able to pass the Civil Rights Act, for example, in the 1960s, after 3 months of sitting on the floor of the House, forcing people to go through the actual work of filibustering on the floor of the Senate, through the rules and the procedures, going through two-speech rule and so forth, to then burn their time and then force the question to a 51-vote threshold, that's the Senate working. Today, they're hiding. And we want them to come forward and to own this issue that we believe is paramount to the future of this nation. The republic is hanging in the balance. Will this country be governed and will the decisions be made by American citizens whose forefathers fought, bled, and died for this country? Or will it be made by people who have come in here and invaded our country illegally and are trying to take this country over? There are numerous other topics I could get into. We're here to talk about the Save America Act. This group is committed to getting it done. This group is we're the ones willing to stand up and take the arrows for saying that we're not going to move legislation, that we're going to stand up and say no, that we're going to stand up and try to force the Senate to act. That's one of the reasons why you've seen some things slow down this week. You're seeing rules now not moving forward because we are committed to achieving the objective the American people want us to do, which is deliver. One final point. This president is set apart because he delivers. This president wants to stand up and achieve something for the American people, not just put something up for campaign purposes. That's the difference. We're here to try to win. And that's why I'm proud to affiliate with this group. And now I'll recognize the gentlelady from Tennessee, Dinah Harshbarger.
Thank you, Chip. And I appreciate the ability to be here today. There's a lot going on in the House, nothing going on in the Senate. But The integrity of American elections on the line, ladies and gentlemen, and the Senate's doing nothing about it. Nothing. They left for a 2-week recess because it's too hard. And right now, legal American citizens do not control their own destiny. We all know where this road leads. We saw it happen 2 weeks ago or 2 days ago in New York. We've seen it happen in California. The radical far left anti-American socialists are taking over the Democratic Party, and they can't do anything about it. If we do not secure our elections, that is the direction the whole country will take. The Save America Act is supported by an overwhelming majority of Americans. You know, we're elected to listen to the people we serve, and we're not doing that. We're just forcing the hand of the House and the Senate to do what is right. There's nothing controversial about election integrity. The fact that we're even having the debate is beyond comprehension. Democrats don't want election integrity because it'll help them politically. It's incumbent upon us as Republicans to do the right thing for the sake of America's future. And I want to speak directly to every senator blocking the Save America Act. I don't care about your political future, and I don't care about your fundraising schedule. You took an oath to the American people, not to yourself. Legal American citizens are losing control of their own country. And they are letting it happen. So grow a set, Senate. Do what the House has already done and what the American people expect from us. And pass the Save America Act. And with that, it is my honor to pass it on to Representative Mary Miller, who is...
All right, so each one of them spent their time talking directly, really, to the Senate, telling them to get back in there, try to pass the Save America Act. Again, President Donald Trump actually canceled the signing of the bipartisan housing bill. He says he will not be signing that or doing much more else with any legislation until they send the Save America Act to his desk to be signed into law. So that's what we had going on earlier today on Capitol Hill. Meanwhile, I want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be talking to you about some other trending news, what's going on. We'll be chatting with Jake Leonard to see what's Philly talking about. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live, you guys. I'm Judea Murray. This is Jake Leonard.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up?
I mean, you tell me. What is everybody talking about tonight?
Okay, well, we've been talking about the World Cup so much.
Absolutely.
I have so much FOMO and I'm so jealous of all our reporters. Like, they look like they're having such a fun time. Greg, was in the march.
Did you see him in the Sea of Wolves?
Yes.
Like Ecuador?
Yes.
Like,
It was awesome.
He's been everywhere with every fan
Yes.
base, having the time of his
Yes.
life. You're absolutely right about
We're
it.
having like the best coverage ever. Like everyone's having so much fun. Kathy, Shawnette, Breland, like everyone is out. Mike and Alex, of course, like Jason and Sheba. I mean, the dancing video.
Yeah.
Like
Chris O'Connell,
everyone looks like they're having so much fun. On the topic of FIFA and the World Cup, Fan Fest, okay? One of the things people have been talking about the most with Fan Fest are those bracelets.
This one? Wait.
Wait.
Let me show the people. Oh, shoot. It just came off. Let's get you a look. Okay. This is the one that I put
love
together.
it. I love it.
It's focused on me. Focus on me. Okay, but this is the bracelet that I put together with a couple of different charms.
Oh my gosh, it is so cute. Oh my gosh, love with the little soccer ball. Oh, that's my favorite. The
We've
love
got the
sign.
Liberty Bell too, the trophy. Yeah, there are a lot of different charms that you can choose. I waited an hour and a half for this.
Okay. Well, that's actually really interesting you said that because as you said, a big topic online has been the lines for these bracelets. People have been waiting. Someone even waited more than 3 hours. Like it was getting super intense. But they actually made a change, okay, on how you can get these bracelets. So they just posted on Instagram. This is the official FIFA World Cup 26 Philly page. So as you can see, it says, want a custom Bank of America fan band? Well, here's how it will work. Intriguing. Wristbands will be distributed prior to event start at the gates. If wristbands do not run out prior to open, stop by the Bank of America booth to receive a wristband for a later time slot. Your paper wristband color corresponds to a specific 1-hour time slot. Return during your assigned time slot to create your custom wristband. So this is really interesting because basically it's like kind of breaking up the line, making it easier. But what's even more interesting to me was one of the comments, if you can see it, from Mary. She said the first 200 people get through, and then after that, they start giving the bracelets out. I was there today, and I was in the first 200.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I guess there's still some bracelet controversy. I mean, I do feel like this is probably a better way to distribute. Like you know what? It almost it's so funny making this comparison, but it almost reminds me of like at Disney, if you got like a fast pass. So like basically you can go and you can be like, okay, like I kind of have like a spot in line, but I'm gonna go do other stuff and then I'll come back. So that's kind of basically what they're doing here, which I feel like definitely would break up the crowd, but also give people the opportunity to experience other stuff at FanFest, which is cool.
Because if you are spending hours in line, that's taking you away from food.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Like the face painting, or we have like that Home Depot section where your kids can go up and actually like kick the soccer ball around, stuff like that.
And so if people are like spending all this time in line, they're not getting to do that. So I think this is a really good idea. Obviously, some people still have their complaints, but it seems like for the most part, everyone is like pretty like locked into this. Like this is a good idea. It's gonna make it easier.
You're never gonna make everybody happy with
No.
anything that you do.
Of course
so
not.
as long as you make the majority of people happy, you make someone's life easier. I feel like maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, I still need to go, and I'm hoping I can get a wristband, and maybe we can be like a little matchy.
Twins,
Yeah.
You need to think long and hard about what you want to put on your bracelet, because I did pick mine out, and don't get me wrong, I do like it.
Right.
I love basically for me, this is like my ode to Philadelphia.
Right.
I'm new here. Let me see if we can get it. Oh shoot. Okay. Well, we tried for you guys.
You guys can imagine it.
Maybe I'll put it on my Instagram story.
Oh, yeah.
I'll also put it on my Twitter story if you guys want to take a look at which ones I chose.
Can you only put 5?
Yes.
Okay.
However, the girl that I went with, and every time I talk about my bracelet, I had to talk about hers too, because she was like really strategic about what she picked. She picked the white charms to go on the opposite end, so 2 white charms. And then on the middle, she did 2026 to always mark this year. So she got 6 charms. Now, I don't know if she charmed somebody for those charms, but that's how she got
Charms
her
for some charms. I'm gonna think long and hard about it. I'm gonna go in with a plan.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I go in blind, I might panic and pick the wrong charms.
I was overwhelmed, and
So I'll have to make a plan.
Yeah.
So whoever comes with me, we're going to the bracelet. So just be ready for that.
Beautiful. A lot of fun stuff to do out here, and you heard that we already have surpassed the most attended World Cup.
I think it's amazing. Like, it's such a cool thing to be living through.
Yeah.
Like, every day on my way to work, I see so many people in the different jerseys. You know, they're like taking pictures. Like, they're obviously tourists. I just think it's so cool because it's like when I've lived in Philly for a couple years now, so like for me, like it's like I know it so well, so to see it from like a tourist point of view, it's just it's amazing. It's really cool. It makes me be like, wow, like we really do live in a really cool place. So,
and even for me being fairly new here, I'm only a couple of months in, but I'm still thinking too, like, wow, Judea, don't take for granted where you are.
Yes.
There's so much history here.
Yes. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, getting to see the people walking around taking their pictures, like literally looking like they're in a dream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I live here.
Right.
I live here
see
now.
this every day. Like we're right by like the Liberty Bell. Like sometimes when like I'm on lunch, like I go and I'm like, oh, there's a Liberty Bell. Like it's so cool. It's literally so much history around us.
Absolutely.
I love Philly.
Oh.
So
I'm starting to love Philly too.
I'm so glad to hear it.
All right, you guys, still got a lot more FIFA World Cup news coming at you in literally 10 minutes. USA, they take on Turkey.
I'm excited.
I know. Are we going to come out on top?
Oh my gosh.
We're going to check
Fingers
in
crossed.
with one of our reporters at one of those watch parties, see how people are getting on. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live, happening right now as we speak. Team USA, they are taking on Turkey. They're actually entering the field with it being escorted by the little kids. It's what almost every team has been doing before their match. They'll be singing the national anthems for both countries, both teams, and then we're gonna have a good game of soccer. Now, right now, getting us all prepped for it, we've got Jill out in FIFA Fan Fest. Jill, I know you've been looking for the party, and you finally found it.
Yeah, we found the party here at Lemon Hill. It's the FIFA Fan Festival. We are just moments away from this match getting started with Turkey. It starts at 10, and actually Fan Festival is open later today. It's open until midnight, so the party can keep going. I have Andrew with me. Andrew is, you guessed it, a Team USA fan. He's from DC, so Andrew, first, just what made you want to watch this final Group D match here at Fan Festival?
I just want to see the U.S. boys go out there, win another game, take the group, they already won the group, but get the full 9 points, win their first 3 games, first time ever, and support them.
Now, their first game was in California, and they won it. What do you expect this time around?
I think we're going to see a different side. They've got 9 changes from the last game, but I think all of them want to go out there and play. They want to win. They want to take it to the other team. They're not just happy to be there on the stage. They want to win the game. I think we'll see that.
And just seeing how they've been performing, what do you think long term? How far do you think they're going to go?
I'm not going to say they can't go all the way. I would love to see that happen. If they keep it up, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, and we'll see it all unfold live. Andrew, thank you so much. I'll let you get to your family now, but enjoy the game. So like he said, this is their final Group D match. They've already won it. We did see some Turkish fans, not many in comparison to the USA fans, but the Turkish fans we spoke with said, hey, we're from Philadelphia, but we're here for the vibes. They're not expecting much out of this match. They just realized the magnitude of them being in the World Cup, hoping for the best, not expecting the best. But so vibes still here, whether if you're for the Turkish side of things, the USA side, which a lot of people are, or just all these other teams. A lot of people are just representing any type of team, maybe their nationality. So we're seeing a lot of t-shirts, a lot of just the vibes are great, and a lot of people are showing up, a lot of teams being represented as well. So we'll see how all of this ends up playing out, but it's getting started right in front of me. The crowd has just been funneling in. Energy has been great. They've been playing music in between the main matches. So I'll send it back to you, Judea, but excited to watch this game.
Jill, I'm excited too. I can hear the cheering in the background. I'm looking at, we've got a game off to the side. We can't show it here on the stream, but I can see that they're singing the national anthems for everybody, and that's probably why people are going crazy. Quick question for you though. I know some people don't like being put on the spot, but right behind you, there are these 2 people just like decked out in what looks like jellyfish gear. Can we ask them where they got those capes from?
Yeah, hold on. We'll see live TV how they feel. Hold on.
Fingers crossed, guys.
Hi, guys. We're on TV right now, Fox 29. We noticed your capes. Just kind of tell us, number one, where did you get them, or did you make them?
No, I did not make them. I'm not that skilled at making things. I bought them online. I got them at Shein.
Nice.
Shein.
I have not seen anyone else sporting this, so you're one of a kind. Love the spirit. Anything you want to say about Team USA tonight?
So excited. Gonna have a good time. Yeah. Go USA.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Love what you're sporting. So there you have it. Online is where it's at.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll send it back to you, Judea.
Thank you so much. Jill, they are going to have a good time. I'm seeing 2. She said Shein. I had to look it up real quick. $20 on Shein, you guys. That's where they got them from. Thank you for giving us a live look at what's happening out there at FIFA Fan Festival. Meanwhile, as you all know, at Los Angeles Stadium, people are going absolutely crazy. You're seeing right down there, they've got people roped off, sectioned off. They're cheering. That's because the national anthem was just sang for the U.S. And so they know that literally any minute now the game is going to begin. We also have that exterior shot too. I want to just filter back between the 2 of them. This is Los Angeles Stadium. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day out there. Perfect weather for people to enjoy a great match of soccer. Again, Turkey, USA, happening in about 3 minutes. Who's gonna take it home? I'm feeling good about Team USA. If I were a betting woman, I would say they're probably gonna put at least 2 up on the board. Make us proud. I think it's gonna be 2-0. Turkey, nothing. I don't know, what do you guys think? You guys have been joining me here on Philadelphia Live in our live stream chats. We've got Brenda J. Lamore saying #Team USA. Drop the flag of the team that you wanna see win right before we head out, you guys. Again, We know that the team is getting ready, fans are getting ready. Wherever you are, it is going to be a party. I can't wait to see what happens right around 11:30 when hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be getting that dub. Again, that's what's going on here in the city of Philadelphia. I'm Judea Murray. You guys have been joining me, and I've been appreciating you. We go over all types of breaking news, live news, whatever may have you. You can find that right here every single night with us, 7 to 10 p.m. Noon to 2, don't go anywhere.